a triple kill, but Sona Finn, he'll deny the plant. He sees 2 more kills. Oh my god! Sona Finn will find more!
Where's Miracle? He's trying to come upstairs, but Crafty get the ace. He'll get the plant. He'll do it all.
Device misses shots. He's gonna have to go for the front.
Oh,
He pushes
Dylan!
on through. Dylan is better.
Round 2, and there's another as Tyrant is finished off, and they all line up for Bone.
Hi there, hello, welcome back to SCS, and we have some amazing matches today. My name is Kagan, I'm joined by the amazing Mr. Blue Panda, and look what you've done to your background, I love it.
Yeah, look, you'd be surprised what you can do in a budget when you want to hide your fiance's walk-in closet. That's exactly what I've done. You know, it's a dual-purpose office, walk-in wardrobe, and I don't want you to see the clothes. So, bed sheet, a couple of pegs, some command hooks. It looks fantastic, and it'll do the job for now until I can afford a proper one. But look, we're here for a reason, Keg. It's not to discuss my decor or DIY skills.
It's not?
It's SCS time, baby. We've got some great games up on the docket today. Unfortunately, we only get to cover one of them because as much as I'd love to cover the whole day of Siege, this is the stuff that I've got to do today. But, I mean, look, Keg, why don't you run us through who you and I get to cover today?
Oh, absolutely. We have 2 amazing teams. Well, let's see how far we've come to this season so far before we get to the penultimate matches of today, or at least the first one. As of now, we're about done with 3 weeks going into SCS's group stages. Man, it feels like time has flown by so quickly. We're on day 3 of week 3. That means this will be the last play day until, of course, we reach week 4, which will be the last 2 weeks of the group stage. But then we go to the playoffs. And then from there, you just see that the days aren't huge or tiny little chopped up blocks for days 1, 2, and 3. No, these playoffs are going to be constant all over the place for weeks 6, 7, and 8. And of course, the format for the whole thing itself is going to be down below as well. So there's going to be 2 groups, 6 teams of each in a round robin. And so each of these teams will play in a group once. Now, of course, if you win both of your matches, you get 3 points for a decisive win, and you don't get any for a decisive loss. But once overtime comes around, like an overtime win, well, you only get 2 points. And if you lose the overtime, hey, you still walk home with 1 point, right?
Hey, look, 1 point is better than nothing. And speaking of the points that we have available to us, why don't we have a look at where we find ourselves currently between the 2 groups? At the moment, we have 2 teams that have had some very, very standout performances so far. Those being Team Mystic in Group A, who, 16 points total, 6 wins. And, I mean, what a round differential that they've brought to the table. Down in Group B, it's Aggro. They are currently sitting at 14 points, so they've had 1 loss, unfortunately. It wasn't quite as clean as they would like, but they're still sitting quite comfortable. Today, we are going to be taking care of Group A for you guys, but look at the standings. There's some interesting results that, I mean, especially coming from last season that you wouldn't necessarily be expecting.
Yeah, I mean, down to earth, number 5 in Group A. Definitely not what I think most teams were expecting. We did see them go up against Nemesis. I believe it was only a few days ago. It was Wednesday, and that was some surprising results in of itself. But No Plans and Mystic, they've really put up a lot of, I think, frankly, surprising results so far this season, and I'm really proud to see that it's not going to be the same exact standard teams really making it up to the top. But of course, Group B is going to be similar as well. We have Aggro and Otter leading the top of Group B as well, and other teams like Synthetic and Veil, they're a little bit on the chopping block.
Yeah, it's coming down to the tail end of things that, your last few opportunities to pick up points and secure yourself a position moving into the playoffs. So this is make or break for all of these teams, especially the likes of Smoko Break, which, and then Nemesis, who are sitting 5th and 6th in Group A, Synthetic and Veil, like you said, they need to do something significant in the next couple of play days to get themselves back into the top 4, give themselves a real shot at contention going into playoffs, because otherwise they could find their season cut short.
Absolutely. And a lot of these teams have done well, some teams not so well, but the players themselves and all sorts of different teams have been doing such an extraordinary job. Let's take a look at the leaderboard and see which of these players have really had a standout performance this season. And look at that. This is my first time seeing this graphic, and I just love it so much. Look at the Iana in the middle. Oh, lovely. But Gunner, having 2 of the categories dominated, top rated, top kills per round, and Adapt +8 in the entry differential is also really cool, but Gunner is stealing the show this season.
I mean, look, Gunner is a name that is, it's very well known in the competitive Siege scene in North America. He's, even myself coming into the scene fresh last year, it was one of the names that kept popping up very, very early on. So I'm familiar with him. I'm not surprised at all that we see him. He's one of the top players, just out of the pro league scene, I would guess you would say. He's got a lot of potential. He's looking very, very good coming into the next, at least, 6-12 months. There's a lot of potential for him to progress it and move forward. But I mean, look, there's also more than just, being that consistent, high-rated player, getting the big frags. You look at that, rounds survived, Zeno is 50%. Team Mystic are putting in some phenomenal performances. Impactful rounds, 77% for Whitlock, another name that is touted to be one of the top players in the competitive scene, especially in SCS this season. Plants, J Blatz, 7. Look, hey, Siege is an interesting game. It's not always about the plant. It's even then, you can play off of the misinformation of faking a plant and then go for the frags. But the fact that he has been able to get in, consistently provide that security in the plant for the team, it's an impressive stat for sure.
Absolutely. And one thing I've noticed too on a lot of these leaderboards is that we see one very common team in every single category. That's Arial Rise. And, I hate to be the one to spoil everything for you, Billy, but guess who we're going to be seeing tonight? We're going to be seeing Arial Rise go up against Smoke Break, or as you call them, Smoko Break.
Yeah, they're on Smoko, so leave them alone. It's like I said before the broadcast, Smoko is, as it's what Australians and New Zealanders call smoke break. We're on Smoko. It's an institution. You do not bother a man when he's on Smoko. So I will give them the honorary Australian title. They're going to be Smoko break from now on. But you look at the stats, it's the rating, it's close. Overall cost as well is so very tight between these two teams. There is a lot of potential. There is a Smoko break. They're looking to push back into the top 4. Arial Rise is one of those hurdles that is going to be in the way.
Oh, absolutely. Arial Rise, of course, being a fantastic team in the past. They've made some roster changes recently, so they have been still going through those growing pains of having to jive with a new roster, but they've been doing a pretty good job. But this is going to be a really interesting matchup for them. They still have to go through those same growing pains, right? It's not going to end just here, and either this game against Smokebreak is going to be the result of all of that new team composition coming together, or it could all crumble here as well. Let's look at a little bit of a deeper breakdown of both of these teams. You're right. There is some crazy defensive prowess on both of these teams, but one thing I've noticed completely is that Arial Rise have a 56% attacking win rate.
Yeah, it's quite a high, attacker win rate for the majority of teams. I think it is, I suppose, indicative of the way that the meta has been shifting with the recent patches, providing that platform for attacking teams to be a little bit more stable. They want to even the playing field. That's what the devs themselves have said about it. They want to make the game so that it is purely 50-50, that you can win rounds both on the attack and the defense. So I mean, the fact that the Arial Rise are already pulling out a stat like 56% win rate on attacking rounds, that shows that they have an understanding of how to approach these maps from the side. So it's odd currently at the meta, to see teams with such a significantly attacker-sided playstyle.
No, I completely agree. When it comes to attack FPS game, there is inherently an advantage for any defending sided team. They have the whole map control to themselves. They can play around with it as much as they want in the prep phase. And that even goes beyond Siege as well. It goes for pretty much any attack FPS game. But a team like Arial Rise going against those odds, we're going to have to see a lot of those attacking rounds really come into fruition tonight if they want to have a chance to beat out Smokebreak.
Yeah, but they need to be on top of the game here. This is something that I've seen a huge amount of, especially yesterday when I got the chance to sit down and cast the matches that we played yesterday. Oh, sorry, no, yeah, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. I'm not crazy. I'm just not getting enough sleep. That's
same.
No, okay. So basically, I mean, it's just coming into a matchup, underestimating your opponents was something that cost Honor pretty dearly, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't think they anticipated that aggro were going to meet them at full force coming into map number 1. So I think Arial Rise, if they're coming into this matchup underestimating Smoko Break, they could find themselves in real threat of being knocked out of the top 4.
Well, being knocked out of the top 4 would suck. But I mean, let's see the maps that these both teams are going to be playing tonight, and maybe one has a chance to get some leverage over the other. It's going to be Villa, and it's going to be Clubhouse here. We do see the whole trail of the way of map bans going through, and it seems like, well, Smoko, they don't really want to play Chalet or Coastline, the more off-center picks of the site, of the comp pool. But Villa and Clubhouse are pretty bread and butter. They're pretty standard. The only crazy one of the two, if I had to guess, or maybe give an educational guess, would be Villa.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. Villa and myself are cursed. they tend to be quite long maps, which
Oh,
I'm
no.
not keen on.
God.
But I mean, again, so we've seen some interesting stuff. Yesterday, we saw aggro opting into an attack start on Oregon. Now we're coming into Villa. Smoko Break, they're opting into starting attack on Villa, which I mean, it's not something that you see a lot of teams doing, but we saw how well it worked for aggro on map number 1 of Cafe. They started off in the attack. They got some pretty significant rounds. They won it out in the end. So maybe Smoko Break, they're trying to get themselves in a position where maybe it's just purely reading the stats. They know that Arial Rise is a very, very strong attacking team, so they're saying, we want to start off in the attack. We want to give them as much time on the defense as possible so that when we go into the half, they don't have as many opportunities to close this map out. So I have to anticipate that's why they've done this. I could be entirely wrong, and it's just they've done it for the fun. They've done it for the memes. I don't know. We won't know until we get there. And then Clubhouse, I mean, the map has been played to death and back. It's one of those maps where it's no longer exclusively around the book. That's not how these things are decided. It plays almost similarly to Coastline. Yes, you still need to do the prep work. You still need to do the setup. But at the end of the day, these strategies are so well known, it's going to come down to gunplay.
I'm really curious to see how Clubhouse is going to go, but luckily we don't have to wait too much longer for Clubhouse. We do have to wait a little bit for that one. But for Villa, the more probably interesting map between the two teams here, especially with Smoko starting up on the attack, it's going to be going into it pretty soon, but I'm super excited to see how these operator bans are going to go. This is my favorite part of any casting for a team inside of Siege, is to see whether or not they want to go for wild bans or much shorter ones.
I mean, look, we've had the big tier 1 league starting up recently, and I think it was APAC South that we saw an Ash ban come out straight away off the bat. So there's some interesting stuff that is happening globally, and look, SCS is not immune to that level of shenaniganery. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some interesting stuff off the board. I would be surprised if we see something like like a Clash or a Warden. But there is still, any possibilities. I'm anticipating a Thatcher. I'm anticipating some form of hard breach, whether that's a Maverick, an Ace, or a Hibana. But there we go. Thatcher taking off the bat. First by Arial Rise.
Thatcher being banned, get out of here. But no, you bring up a good point too. It was the DZ Pro-Am that we saw Arial Rise ban out Vigil and Ash on Coastline. Of course, this isn't Coastline, but they're not unused to banning out weird things either. So maybe we can see a cool pick come out. It'd be nice, but pretty standard for the attackers as usual. Hibana's could go down next. It's usually either a toss-up between Hibana or Ace, but it looks like Hibana got the short end of the straws, and now we get to see the more interesting defender picks. Please be a Valkyrie or something interesting, but no, it's gonna be a Mirror instead.
I mean, Valkyrie does make a lot of sense. Melusi makes a lot of sense, especially the moment. Even Wemai, to an extent, makes a lot of sense in terms of these ban phases. You've also got the option of an Aruni ban. I don't think it's necessarily justified, but I could see it coming through. I mean, the interesting thing that I'm seeing that through is look, there we go. Valkyrie rounds things out. No surprises whatsoever. The camera play is so impactful on a map like Villa. The crazy thing that I'm seeing, so on a map like Villa, on a map like Oregon, Clubhouse, Consulate even, flanks are so impactful. Being able to get up and down those main stairways is so key in counteracting attacking lineups, and Nomad has been let through here, which is an operator that you sometimes see banned on these maps. It's not a given thing every single time, but it has been let through, which means that flank play is going to be dealt with. It's going to be that much harder to reposition if your Arial Rise trying to counteract the defense. And well, with it start on Aviator Games, I honestly feel quite confident in the lineup that we're seeing brought here. You've got an Ash Zephyr on the board who can go below, try and deal with any denied utility, which they're opting out of anyway. They're going for a Maestro instead. So they're going to be trying to take their straight on stall gunfights with the smoke canisters and the Vulcan shields. I honestly believe that this lineup coming out from Smoko Break just has a little bit more inherent strength.
I think you're completely right too, right? And we talked about how Arial Rise, 56% attacking win rate so far in the season. They don't choose to ban a flank watch, even if they're maybe predominantly going to be on the defense, especially for the first half. They chose to not do away with that. Of course, the Nomad's going to make its way through probably every single round we see Smoke Break bring out. And I'm wondering, Arial Rise most definitely has their playbook centered around having the flank watch in play, but they opted not to ban it either.
Well, yeah, look, hey, it's interesting that you see a map like Villa played without some sort of... Okay, look, I'm interested to see what the strategy is here. I couldn't imagine why you would waste a single reinforcement on the Astro wall unless you were anticipating some sort of Astro aggression, but look, we won't know until it plays out. At the moment, Smoko Break, they're getting themselves in position early. Walk downstairs in the basement room. I talked about the impact of these deep rooms on a map like Villa. You can go all the way down to the basement. There's so many options for you to get back upstairs and have that heavy impact. And with an operator, I'm so confused. So you reinforce a single panel into Astro, but 2 into Master. It's like they can't make up their mind where they want to hold.
Maybe it's like psychological warfare, right? If they reinforce 2 of the 3 panels,
it's definitely psychological, I think.
Yeah, like it forces the Ash to reach that 1 round for no reason, and now they wasted some of that utility. But that is like 4,000 IQ plays there. That's just, it doesn't work because Loca just makes their way through anyways. But Faded, already on the 90 repel window, not going to find a whole lot to begin with here. Everyone else hiding nice and tight on Arial's defense. Dami rotating downstairs as well. We could see a double flank coming through from the Maestro, the Goyo and the Malusi. That's yet to be seen. In fact, 90's been pretty much under control from Smoke Break.
There's some interesting stuff coming through here. The dual player roam offsite. Yes, Dommy's gotten down below, so he can potentially look for a nitro, but the initial setup, the reinforcements into Master and Astro haven't slowed Smoko Break down at all. They've still got control of 90. They're still pushing into the bomb site with, plenty of time left to play. So, questionable decisions being made here already, at least in my mind. And I mean, by all rights, Smoko Break should be able to execute onto the bomb site, get the plant down, if not enough frags to secure the plant. But I have more questions than answers at this stage.
Well, something I think important to know here is, right, the 2 defenders we've been keeping the most eyes on have the C4s down below. The Hibana wall is going to open up inside Study. That's going to put a lot more pressure on Lava, but he's able to find the opening pick anyways. More control being lost on the side of Smoke Break. They have to do what they can, but so many different holes all throughout. Not enough to really poke their way through. Vaden's able to find another Selma charge. I believe the final one in their possession. Yes, it is. And still, not going to amount to a whole lot. They're all just bullet holes going throughout. Lava holding down inside of the vault. Everyone's waiting for someone to poke on by. There's only 30 seconds left for the execute, and yet nobody's coming by in time. Still, those 2 defenders we keep an eye on early in the round do have those C4s from below. They could turn it into a minefield at any given moment, but still, these attackers need to push on in. We're going to see that from Twizzler. Diffuser might start to go down any minute, but the entire Smoke Break is able to clean up the house. 2 left alive, those 2 offside make that 1 left alive. It's now up to Dami. C4 in hand, might be able to save the round, but it's too little too late. He throws it randomly. It's not going to connect at all. He now has to go up against a 1v4 situation going all the way upstairs, and they're going to definitely telegraph where he's going to be. He's going to make his way up. You're not going to see any bodies at first. All throughout, holding those angles, one at the bottom of 90, other one inside Study. Anywhere he goes, it's going to be a death trap, and now he has to defuse and also take down 4 different bodies at once. If it's possible, it could be, but we have to see it happen. Pushing up slowly but surely. Yeah, it's done and dusted, Billy.
Okay, so King, are you familiar with Lemony Snicket and the phenomenal series that he wrote titled A Series of Unfortunate Events?
Yes.
Well, I have a new series that I've heard he's coming out with, and he's written it specifically about Arial Rise. It's a series of questionable decisions, and it's based around that round because there were so many things that were done that just did not make sense, and it cost them the round. Why was Domi playing downstairs without the info he needed to go for the plant denial? Why did they just lose their gunfights? Why did they give up early control? Why did they go for the extension over towards Trophy Statuary and not contest it? There's a lot that was left up in the air, and unfortunately, when it hit the ground, they didn't catch any of it.
You know, I'm wondering if it was a bit of like a poking and prodding, right? You see the default strat that Smoke Break wants to bring out. You understand from here on out how on the attack they might want to push a future aviator site. It's possible, but also keep in mind, we had 2 of those defenders we highlighted downstairs on the 3rd most floor, waiting for those flanks up above. So maybe it was a communication error, possibly. But had we had seen those nitro cells go off, they could have denied the plant 2 times over.
Well, look, hopefully they bring something a little bit different, whether it's positioning. With Wings bringing that bulletproof camera, maybe that's the tool they need to provide that information, whether or not the plant is going down, because I don't know whether it was a case of Domi just didn't know where the plant was going down, which, I mean, by all rights, 9 times out of, yeah, there we go. They've opened the floor below the, the default now. But, I mean, you should be knowing in a situation like this, 9 times out of 10, the plant is going to be going down default. Why it was thrown over towards, the model table, a question. But hey, look, maybe it was just a bit of a bait and switch, see what their approach is, and then try and counteract it coming into round number 2. But if that's their standard approach to this, it could prove unfortunate and rather hard for them to pick up some more rounds.
Yeah, and we still see the same exact push coming out from Smoke Break yet again. It's almost like deja vu. We're seeing a Loco go for the same exact strat, and there it is! Those same wall not being reinforced 2 times over. It's definitely planned. They have something in place for it, probably denying a lot of early random penetrating gunshots, a lot of pre-fires coming through, but it doesn't matter. Dami jumps the banister and won't be seen yet again for maybe the rest of the round.
Again, like, if you're investing time, if you're investing resources and locking that angle down, why would you give it up so easily? And it's not a case of, oh, he was immediately being threatened. Any sign of aggression, they pulled back off. They gave it up. They moved over to try and, rotate back to site. And again, we're seeing Smoko Break come in with a lot of control, a lot of room, a lot. Yeah, look, hey. Who am I to say what their plan is? But already you can see that they feel like they're floundering a little bit. They've all grouped up. They're all stacked up. One frag grenade could take out 2 players minimum.
That's true. I like this, though, a lot more than what we saw last round.
I don't. I really don't. Any information, they can go below. They can play the angles. They've got Twizzler, who has proved himself quite a capable sledge player, and they're already starting to deal with this utility. There's no security in denying that plant because there's so many bases that are now covered by Smoko Break. This is, I mean, if they do win this round, if Arial or Rise are able to pull out of the bag, it's going to be on desperation gunfights alone.
Absolutely, but we did see Smoke Break go at the very last 30 seconds, go for the execute, and there were toxic babes everywhere, Selma charges galore, but not enough to really have a full fruitful execute for Smoke Break on their own. They found those bodies, of course, the last round, but this time it's looking like it could be the same result, but now that there's more people of Arial Rise on the actual bomb site, they could use those nitro cells to deny. Lava 2, the Kaid, now has a nitro cell in their possession. We didn't see him last round, and so making the grand entrance here could be a great way to start things off, but as of yet, no one's really made a move yet. 30 seconds left on the clock, still waiting and poking and prodding these different angles, barely any reinforcements on the southern wall here, and yet no one on the attack wants to push. They're all waiting, they're biding their time, they're trying to drone out. One toxic babe goes out, stalling on Barako and Swizzler, but even then there's a cross pinch coming out from Faded. They're trying to push up a little bit, trying not to take too much damage, but already Twizzler's the one to break that seal. Going forwards now, double nitro in place, 10 seconds left, they have to go for the plant, they have to do something now, they have to hurry it up, a battlefield ensues inside Aviator, but it looks like Smoke Break are taking it on top again. So many bodies all falling, but Og is able to trade it out a little bit more. He's able to find one, but it doesn't matter, the plant barely going underway, it's a 1v3. And Smoke Break take it twice in a row.
I questioned it. Like I said, if you were gonna go for that extension over towards Trophy Statuary, you need to commit a little bit heavier. Domi playing over there by himself, and whether it's a case of this is their go-to default strategy or not, and I know that, I cast a lot of ANZ, I cast a bit of NA, so I'm seeing more ANZ stuff, and it's not quite what they do at, here over home, but I understand it's probably something they do a little bit more often in NA. It's shut down those pre-fires, blah, blah, blah. But the whole point of that setup is to at least provide some presence or waste some time. And Smoko Break, whatever time they're losing from that initial, confusion of are they there, are they not, is gotten back straight away because they get control, they move over, they're pressuring onto the bomb site. And I said, that round was going to come down to desperation gunfights, and Smoko Break won all of them.
Oh, but Billy, look at that. We see the princess come out.
Yeah, she, Twizzler, look, mad respect, love the Yana. Big fan of her now that she has received the Gon 6 as well. Like, she is just a utility clearing machine. Not to mention, she can provide her own intel with the Gemini replicator. And look, hey, let's be honest, the G36 isn't a bad gun by any means. So Yana is incredibly well-rounded at the moment in terms of what she offers to a team. To the point where, she probably not quite Ash level, but close enough that you could afford to maybe make that switch.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a lot more Iana come out from here on out. Even though she is super cool, her Gemini drone is just so powerful on a huge map like Villa. But usually we see that on Aviator. We don't normally see it as much on on trophy and statuary. We have seen it sometimes, mostly going through bathroom into Astro, but there are almost 3 different bodies are holding that fort. I'm not sure how effective the Gemini can be, except for some really split-second info.
I mean, sometimes that's really all it takes in Rainbow Six Siege. That split second, a single frame gives you the information you need to know whether or not you can commit to a push there, or you have to pull back, and that's exactly what Org's done. He's seen that the door's open, he's going to pull back, he's being chased down, hunted quite aggressively. No damage traded, but they have an indication that there is some spread here. They're just more information about who is and isn't on the bomb site, and they can start to pressure. And Arial Rise have gone more and more that they've given that indication that they're not willing to take these aggressive heads-up gunfights off-site. They want to pull back, play for back against the wall, give themselves that security. And honestly, I think that's what I want to see. I want to see them be a little bit more aggressive, go for the roams, the more aggressive roams, not commit to this hard bunker style of play.
We kind of saw that in round 1, but it was too little too late for that roaming execution. Og, though, is kind of taking remnants of that, taking your advice a little bit more, but look at this angle that Lava has right behind the chassis. Almost found the skull of, I'm not entirely sure who that was on the other side, but that could have been impactful. Fortunately, it did miss. Luckily, though, again, that seal's been broken and Loco's able to find Lava to begin things off, but the Goyo's gone. If you had to lose anybody there, the Goyo probably not the best opening pick against Arial Rise, but now being stunned completely, the more bodies are falling underneath. That being said, a 4v4 underway. Domi's able to trade it back a little bit more, finding the Nomad trade potential and the flank potential completely gone.
There's a lot of things going wrong here as Morocco guns down wings. The 416 is a gun that you want to have in those key gunfights coming with the dying moments of a round, but it's not even the dying moments of the round. There's still over a minute left to play here. The execute's coming in. Morocco has control. Almost had control of the bomb site. In a great spot, but faded there to refrag outside Master. They've got man count yet again. Twister going for the plant. TPA with a long shot onto Woods. It's all down to Domi with the older 5.56. He's in Astro. TPA watching the crossfire. If Domi swings the wrong way, he is not long for this world. He's spotted. He does so just a little bit. Will be able to pull back, but faded again with the crossfire. I talked about it. We need to see a higher level of aggression here from Arial Rise because they cannot keep playing this back against the wall style of defense.
I don't think I've seen that angle before that Faded brought out. That was beautiful. Sight denial all the way to the diffuser from outside master bedroom window. That is so hard to counter. It's almost impossible if it's a 1v1.
Look, I think the Smoko Break are coming into this. They have exactly an idea of how they want to approach this. This is why they picked attack to kick things off. They know how to approach this map because you look at the setup. They go for the plant. The crossfires are well established. TPA has just been winning those gunfights, hands down, like no competition in some of these gunfights. Tragic as well, just the way that they're connecting, the way that they are working as this cohesive unit is kind of scary if you're an Arial Rise fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often where we get to see such coordination on the attack. Of course, in SCS, we do see a lot more of it than other leagues and, like ranked play and stuff, right? But Smoke Break against a team like Arial Rise has been doing such a good job so far. It makes me wonder, how long can this streak really go for? We've seen every single site Arial Rise has brought out, the primary and secondary of Villa, not go in their favor at all. Billy, they're down to the tertiary site. They might be able to find some success on Dining Room, but they have to play a much larger roam game. They do have the Pulse, which is a good start, but is that going to be enough?
I mean, again, it's largely default setup. You're going for the verticality hold, which is what you want. You want to lock out as much of the second floor as you can. The Pulse, again, it's a default pick, I think, for a lot of teams on this bomb site. So, yeah, I like what Wings is doing, going for the deep roam as the Vigil. He's going to be playing in and around Brown Stairs there. Might even be able to make something happen from Classical, which, they have been coming in from Study. That's information he's now getting as to where they are looking to enter the building. Gemini Replicator could be big, though. It's shot out so they know that there is at least some presence here, whether or not they figured out that it was, the Vigil. There's only so much they can do now to counteract it. And Arial Rise, again, they're retreating. They're not going for aggression. I understand the point of a roamer is to waste time and utility, but there are angles that they could be holding that could find them, a pretty easy pick, in all honesty, and they're not even going for that. They're playing very hesitantly.
Yeah, looking Faded right now, too, hiding behind themselves right outside closet window. It's a solo push coming out from what it seems to be the only hard reach on their team. Now, given on Dining Room, we don't necessarily need too much of a hard reach. Of course, it's always nice, but they're playing by themselves. The Roamer still wings unaccounted for completely. Og, of course, behind the Goyo shield as well. Waiting to see if anyone pushes up, and double drone getting denied completely is a great start. Of course, from above, too, Woods trying to find some bodies, having the C4 in play as well. Not going to use it right away. In fact, there might be a little bit more action towards the top of the stairs. Morocco's going to get stunned themselves, but even then, everyone's able to find these power positions, but not enough to clap up bodies. Oh, but 1C4? Is that going to be it? Aloka's still unchecked. Not going to go off. Too little, too late.
TPI, he's going to be tagged, but he's still healthy enough to really contribute quite significantly in the round. He's looking for it. Unfortunately, they lose Tragic, but Twizzler finds one. TPA finally gets found. That's 2 Nitro cells committed for the 1 player, which, I mean, it's not great utility usage. It's 3 versus 4 because Tragic unfortunately left the server. So this could be a round that Arial Rise might be able to pick up off the back of that. And, you know, the glaringly obvious prospect that they now have to face. Sfaded and Morocco are still here. They're still incredibly capable fraggers. Yes, they only have the 1 drone in the hand of Twizzler, but they've also got the Gemini Replicator, so they can still make this work. The fact that Faded is in laundry is starting to pressure, and Morocco and Twizzler joining up with him. This is looking like a scary project.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. That's exactly what Org needed to do. Find the Nitro kill onto Morocco. Just whittle away at those numbers. Just the information, though, that is being given over here to Smoko Break, they could still... It's a small chance, but there is still a chance they pull this back.
Still a chance indeed. Look at Twizzler already pushing out. Might be able to find the Skull of Wings, and he's able to do so. He claps it up with the G36, but there's one behind the reinforcement. A 2v2 now. The kill feed entirely in the side of Smoke Break. One hiding behind the penetrable wall. It's going to be the Malusi, but is that going to be enough? Woods pushing out behind the dinner table. Might be able to find one on A site, but they're getting close. Diffuser underway. Still C4 in hands for Dami. He's going to throw it. Might be able to land, but yes! They're able to bring it to a 1v1. Still, the plan goes underway. It's still going to be the G36 wielding Princess Ayana herself. But on the other side, Dami's been spotted. Gunshots out. Audio cues galore. Still having no idea where this princess is at. Oh, so much damage on both sides. 50 health for each. Though going forwards, Twizzler backing up a little bit more. How is the power position? Has the angle, waiting for them to strike, and Twizzler and Smoke Break bring it 4 rounds in a row.
I mean, this is Smoko Break playing their game. I mean, even when it comes down to the wire, Twizzler, I mean, they lost TPA to a Nitro cell. We are going to have to throw it to a quick pause break while we get Tragic back in, and there we go. We'll just keep going with the break. Keg,
hey,
this is... I mean, this is just superior play. That's all you can put it down to. Arial Rise feel like they're floundering. They're not making... they're not playing aggressively. This is an incredibly passive defensive setup that we're seeing, to the point where when the action kicks off, 4, if not 5 members are all on the bomb site with nowhere to go, and they're just being gunned down like fish in a barrel.
And we're seeing moments of brilliance too, right, Billy? Like, we do see some Nitro Cell play coming through, and we've been mentioning it a lot, but it's also Villa, and they've been playing a lot of these vertical angles, but they're not really capitalizing on it, right? We saw the pulse come out from Arial Rise last round, but what came of it? Not a whole lot, except for some information up above, but we only saw 1 Nitro Cell work out in the final seconds of the round.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a far cry from what we're used to from Arial Rise. They're touted as one of the better teams in Tier 3, and a team that could go quite far given the opportunity, but it's just not what we're seeing. We're seeing incredibly passive play. They're not going for anything, even you know, remotely risky. They're just pulling playing the full anchor like setup. It's just... It's bizarre. That's the only way I can describe it. This is not the kind of siege that you would expect for a map like Villa.
I don't want to count out Arial Arise just yet, though. They are really good on the attack, and they could bring it back 4-4, or whatever the scoreline's going to be once we go over to the attack. But if Smoko can take advantage of this and bring it 6-0, that is going to be one heck of a prospect for Arial Rise to bring it back to. Now, we do see the majority of the attackers starting off on Study here. It's going to be very far away from everyone else on the other side of Trophy. But Wings, he was playing on the far left side of Classical last time we saw this site. He's not going to be there this time. In fact, where are the roamers at, Billy?
Well, you got Org downstairs in Art Studio, which is interesting. You got Tommy on red stairs. So again, it's a very loose roam. You're not really playing in a position where you have the opportunity to refrag. TPA is on the hunt, looking for Domi right now. And I mean, this is an advantage. This is what you wanted to see from Domi. You want him to hold that angle so he can go for the contest with the favorable angle. But, I mean, TPA is not going to give it to him. They've also rotated wings. Orgat again. Again, they're just all hunkering down on the bomb site. Domi might be in a position to go for a flank, but with a nomad on the board, they have an answer to it. Morocco going to be the first one to be tagged. Nothing significant, though. They're going to deal with the Vulcan shield that was on site. Domi has to go for the relocate. Can't play it in the same spot. And you look at this, Smoko Break, they're aggressing onto the bomb site already. They might not be in, but they're making moves to get themselves in.
I really want to see what Domi can do next. They were right at the bottom of the A stairs. TPA was right on the landing, and yet no one was able to find each other. He's still hiding down in Memorial Room, but he does have an angle up above. That's what he's waiting for. Except people have already crossed on by, seemingly having no idea for Domi. Goyle shields are exploding everywhere, and Wings is being forced away from their position on A. Now, if you're the attacking side for Smoke Break, things are looking really good. A minute 12 left on the clock. They're going to be pushing their way forwards. Gemini drone, of course, in hand as well is going to help with the info, but still, there's no one to shoot out the drone either. They're able to make it work. Fade with the cross angle as well. Plant underway. No stopping except for a single Nitro Cell. Is that going to do anything? And it does! A double kill comes out from a double Nitro Cell, and Domi's able to clean it up with a double himself. Now suddenly one left alive. It's a 1v5 for Faded. He's not able to clap it up, and Arial Rise bring it back with a flawless round.
That's exactly, well, it's not exactly the adaptation that we wanted to see, but it worked. Let's just put it that way. It was hedging their bets, I think, more than anything. I think they were relying probably a little bit too heavily on the Nitro play from below from Domi. They could have won that on gunfights, honestly. They had the positioning, they had the utility, but I don't know. There's I don't think they can rely on that this round again to pick themselves up another win. And especially, I mean, you look at the stats. So the attacking win rate for Arial Rise is 56%. That's still only like 3-point-what rounds in the next half. They need to get at least this one to give themselves a shot at winning this map.
Now, keep in mind, too, all of our casting predictions predominantly said it was going to be Arial Rise taking it 2-0 tonight. Only 2 casters, and I'm, to be honest, blanking on who they were, said it was going to be a tie.
I think McCready was one of them.
McCready?
I'm pretty sure it was McCready.
I think Chief was the other one.
Yeah, those two would. Yeah.
Ooh, you were right. All right. Thank you for me.
So do we get points for our predictions and guessing who the predictors were? Like, surely.
Of course. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to beat out Jay's Wills with my predictions.
Yeah, look, I think I forgot to do mine again this week. It was something that I was real bad for last season, but don't worry, I'll get them next week, guys. Don't you worry.
You're like
I'll
me in checking my grades.
Look, I haven't checked my grades in years because I haven't had to. It's good and it's bad. But okay, so we are seeing some changes here. It's looking for that. It's similar to their extended hold, but they're bringing the mute now as well to deny information, which has been such a key factor in why Smoko Break have been able to pick up those shots. Predominantly because the information they needed to find was all in the same room, but it's information they can take off the board. It is going to slow down that march. Wings looking for something a little bit aggressive here. Behind that wall, using a bullet hole, could do some real damage. It becomes a matter of whether he's scouted out or not. And even, you know, with ERC activated, it's going to give them some information as to where he is positioned. Not necessarily, you know, pinpointed, but in terms of the overall layout of the house. So I'd be surprised if he's able to pick something up here, but just the proximity, so close. He very, very nearly found something there. Is going to go for the reactivation. Twizzler's Gemini does get okay. Twizzler falls for it. They do find the frag, will fall off. TPA tag, so is Orb, and this is the change up we needed. We needed more aggression, and that's exactly what they're bringing.
Look, I very rarely doubt Wings, but I really thought that was going to go south so quickly. Wings was playing a dangerous game. They got a dangerous prize from it. Now, suddenly, things are not looking great for Smoke Break yet again for another round. A 4-2 split is not uncommon for Villa, but now seeing that there's 3 left alive for Smoke Break's side compared to the 4, you still have the unchecked Wings on your side. Having predominantly now anchors on the board, there is still, of course, that Vigil looming about, but still undetected, hiding down in a Memorial Room by themselves. These last 3 alive on Smoke Break really need to consolidate themselves and figure out where this roam clear is going to be, or they're in for a big big problem. Of course, Dami down below inside Piano's not going to help either. The vertical angles are going to be in play, but look at that. They're trying to clear out as much as they can themselves on Smoke side. Of course, Tragic going down below, trying to find some of those air jabs to deny the flank. That's going to be huge against the Vigil, but it doesn't matter. They're trying to even up the odds a little bit more. Lava doesn't know what's going on, and neither do I. There's a minute left on the clock, Billy. And yet again, we're seeing a huge anchor onto the site, or what we did before. Dami has gone off. Now Wings still roaming around as much as they can. It could be a 1v3 very shortly. But Morocco trying to find the cross angle. Dami now upstairs inside study, trying to find something. But there's only a few seconds left into the round, and yet we haven't seen a full execute.
Dami could find himself in a bit of trouble here if they do get the drone, and I couldn't quite say where the mute jammers are, but this window, the bang through the barricade does push Dami off the angle. He's stuck behind the desk. He has to win this gunfight if he wants to give his team a chance at that 4-2 spray coming in. Dami goes down. Wings will get Morocco on the backside of it, so we are back to 2 versus 2. Faded and Tragical, what can they do? Tragic finds Wings. It's all down to Woods with the SMG-11 and the smoke. Can he do it? He's going to go for the spray. Faded still alive here for now. They know where he is. They could swing at any moment. Woods gets down. Faded finds it. Smoke break will take the half 5-1 on Villa.
Holy moly, I cannot believe Faded found a double kill from that. Beautiful work coming through, and now going into the second half, Arial Rise have a whole bunch of work they need to bring out. It's 5-1. Arial Rise need to find 4 more, hopefully in a row, to even things up a little bit more. But Smoke Break, they're on track to find the match point, maybe in a single round.
I mean, like I talked about, 56% attacking win rate. 56, which is 3 in a 6-round half. Smoke Break only need 2 to close this map out, and we're heading to Aviator Games. I honestly believe that Arial Arise could be in some significant trouble right now. They could be at real risk of not picking up a single round in the second half.
This is the big round to really consider that, right? Either Smoke Break gets the match point and there's going to be a 5-round differential, or Arial Rise are able to get another round, and the situation's still going to be the same regardless, right? But at least then Arial Rise have a little bit more momentum to work with.
Well, they are going for a similar extension over towards Master and, well, not quite the same. They're using a castle this time instead of the reinforcements. They're also opening up Walken. Okay. I see what they're doing. They're going for, you know, what is considered a traditional extension in with the castle barricades into Master Bedroom. So this is more in line with what I'm used to seeing for you know, extended holds into, you know, off the AVG bomb site. So now it becomes a question of how much time can they waste? Because when we saw it coming out from Arial Arise, it was, I mean, you're looking 30 seconds, 40 seconds maximum before they were pulling off the bomb site. As soon as there was any sign of resistance, they were out of there, and they conceded that ground pretty early on, up until, you know, the final round where Twizzler just absolutely ate it through the bullet hole. I'm interested to see just how well Smoko Break's defense plays out with this one, because the tools they've set themselves up with, they are very, very solid. It's now, again, it's going to come down to the gunfights. Faded and TPA just really have been hitting their shots. And, I mean, Wings in early. Ping there could find something. That's a big shot. Oh, Twizzler is just going to stay alive for the moment. They go for another frag. Twiz could be in a bit of trouble if he stays too close. He's going to pull back. He's going to survive. He's going to be good for the moment. Might even look to reaggress through those vertical angles, but that's 2 big chunks of utility from Arial Arise that have been committed for only a portion of health. And the return, Wings does just find it, but at the cost of a significant portion of his own health. I mean, risk reward, it's a castle for the most of Iana's health. Unless Wings pops up and finds some big frags, it may not be worth it.
I don't know. I mean, you get rid of the castle, you got rid of 2 Escanades, but you still have the sledge with 2 frag grenades in their own possession. Not entirely sure where that sledge is at the moment. I think he's on top of Study, but regardless, look how much control still Arial Rise have gotten on the map. They still have some on Study. Smoke Break still have quite a bit of the site themselves, but look at this. On side of Study, they're going to be pushing up, especially Og. Going up classical stairs now. Not going to find a whole lot in the beginning, but maybe on top of the other side of 90, they could find some work. But as of now, all these roamers are back on site. They don't want to take any chances. One outside Zombie, sure. Another one inside 90. But everybody else, they're playing a very safe game. Dami is going to be down below. waiting for some sort of flank, but no, not going to come about, it seems. But even then, look at TPA hiding around, trying to take down the Gemini. It's not going to be enough. There's 50 seconds left on the clock, and yet nobody wants to push up just in time. 4v5 still. Smoke Break are down one body, but they've been able to stifle the attack long enough. The Goyle shields couldn't soon fall, find themselves covered in fire. Lava has to poke away as the C4 comes down in retaliation. 37 seconds left, yet still nobody wants to push just yet. Toxic babes everywhere. Still stifling this attack, Billy. Everyone's trying their best to push, but the time is running out. They could try to put some more work in. Tragic, of course, could be waiting on top of the angle as well. And yet nobody wants to make that first execute until Faded decides to pull the trigger. Even then, though, they're trying to do as much as they can. So many bullets going through, a battlefield everywhere, all over the site. And with 10 seconds left, it's going to be in the favor of Smoke Break yet again. The defenders being able to make it 2-1, now make it 4-1. Triple kill for Morocco. And Lava, barely alive, no diffuser in their hands, can't do too much except take down one body and get traded.
Look, it is 6-1 to Smoko Break here.
Billy!
They have one more round to find, and they will have handed one of the most significant, not the most significant, but one of the most significant trouncings to Arial Arise this season. I'm not saying that Arial Arise have been absolutely trounced, but there was a 7-0 the other week, so not the worst loss. But I mean, just it's difference between social sport and competitive sport. That Twilight Soccer and Premier Soccer. Like Smoke Break have come into this. They are playing their game. They using misinformation. They're using every single tool available to them to find these ones and twos. Even Morocco going absolutely off there in that round. And you can feel the frustration and flustering coming from Arial Arise. They were stacked up top of brown stairs, trying to figure out how the hell to get themselves in through study into the bomb site. And they had TPA, I believe it was TPA. Yeah, it was TPA in Classical. They had Tragic behind them. They were stacked up watching the same angle, but at different heights, so that as soon as Arial Arise was so certain that it was just the one player until Lava swung out, found Tragic, and took a huge chunk of damage, that the information wasn't there. This is a vastly weaker Arial Arise than we are used to seeing.
Keep in mind, too, there have been a lot of roster changes in play. I think every player on Arial Rise, and of course also Smoke Break, have done a fantastic job in the past, and Arial Rise, this is not a scoreline we're used to seeing. Even up against Disrupt, this was a similar scoreline, but that was a Pro League level team.
Smoko Break, they're really doing it to him right now.
I guess you do have to leave him alone.
Leave him alone. He's there on Smoko. Leave him. This isn't even Smoke Break's map. This is Arial Arise's map, and they are about to be handed potentially a 7-1 loss. Like, if you are an Arial Arise fan, you are terrified right now. Like, that is not a reassuring prospect.
But one can have hope, right? Arial Rise have been better.
One can have hope.
A little bit.
But how much stock you put into that hope is another question. Like, 6-1. We've talked about how they are an incredibly capable attacking team, but to win 5 rounds back-to-back without a single mistake, which, let's be honest, there have been a few so far this matchup. You can hold out hope, but I wouldn't hold on too tight.
I want to see what happens with Faded here, right? He's holding down predominantly pretty much most of the southern part of the map by himself. There are some drones. TPA, of course, could be on 90 side as well. One can be repelled on the other side. Flashbangs go down, but is that going to be enough? No. They're going to stay their exact spot. But the air jab could activate, throwing TPA in a bad spot. Tommy's able to find them instead. That was very well calculated. And that goes into a double kill, no less. Holding on to 90. Beautiful work coming out from Arial. But what about Faded? Well, the conclusion of the story is right there. 2 left alive for these defenders. A minute 30 left on the clock. Almost all the anchors, almost all the roamers are dead. Morocco holding now potentially a 1v3 inside of Zombie. Has to find 2 different bodies on 2 different angles, both at the same time. They could double push here. Morocco still holding a very tight angle, decides to push on up, finds the intel of one, gets the body of another, but not enough to secure the kill. Another flawless.
Well, it's a big win for them to find. And you've got to be glad that they did. They could not have come at a better time. It's going to break the momentum. They're going to be able to potentially pick up some more significant rounds off the back of it. But, I mean, so Aviators locked out for at least one more round split. Did not work whatsoever. Do we see? Yeah, there we go. Dining Kitchen is the next one. I think there's a little bit more security in this bomb site because, especially, I would imagine we're going to see a 6-pick onto a pulse. You want to bring something like that to give that information. The nitro cells are so key from below. And they're running 3 minimum here. And the Jaeger 6-pick onto a pulse. That is bold. That is bold.
It's interesting, right? Because the Wamai isn't banned. You could have brought him out. But I think what Smokebreak is expecting is a lot of vertical play, and it's dining. That's not surprising to think about. But the counter projectiles, when I think of dining, I don't think of crazy amount of projectiles, right? I do think about some used up flashbangs. I do think about some smoke grenades coming down in the late side, on side of the actual bomb. But it doesn't define the round, if you know what I mean. A lot of what the projectiles that we see do define the round are those nitro cells. And yet, on Arial Rise, they do bring some frag grenades, and they could find a little bit more use here. But this might just be a straight gun fest.
And, well, it's how it has been so far. The first half, it was late executes from Smoko Break. They won their gunfights quite commandingly, if I'm being perfectly honest. And then they secured the round that way. And, well, defense, they're 1 for 1. Let's be honest. They are 1 for 1. The second round, it was a little bit shaky. Let's be honest. Flawless round going the way of Arial Rise. You got to be feeling good about that one if you're a fan. But Smoko Break, I don't think that's going to be enough to shake their confidence. TPA on the roam playing the Vigil, something he's probably a little bit more comfortable on, given that he is the Ash player for the, when they're on the attack. I think we could potentially just see a straight up gun round. He's going to be holding the same position, which, I mean, Dobby dealt with very, very solidly. Got 1, got 2, and was able to move in, and they just absolutely mopped up the remaining players on Smoko Break. Wings in, looking to try and find whatever information possible. TPA has relocated. They are relocating almost they're doing laps of the map, almost trying to breed that misinformation, trying to find any opportunity, and Morocco looking for much the same. Down below, Twizzler could be the defining factor, feeding that heartbeat sensor information through to his teammates. The nitro cell placement is going to be absolutely key. But the flank watch, there needs to be there. Domi needs to be on point with the positioning of air jabs. They need to be able to find out where TPA is at least, kind of located. It doesn't have to be picture perfect, but at least has to give you an indication of what part of the building he's in, because otherwise they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble. Lava tag heavy to start things off. Morocco pulls off. TPA finds the opener. Wings to go down. They lose the Iana, that repetitive information gatherer, plus the frag grenades. TPA still aggressively contesting through the Astro door. Also has that wall open. Nitro toss. Morocco can't find anything off the back of it. Org finds TPA on the return. They do down Morocco as well, so they have the man count advantage. Org going to push up aggressively. Lava does finish that kill. They're pushing in, but Tragical's on the bomb site. Lava drop. That's a big play here. The nitro cell could be the bait. Oh, if he waited a second longer, Woods would have gone down as well. But Keg, we are back in a 3 versus 3. All 3 players for Smoke Break are on the bomb site. Tragic still has a nitro cell, and we are still seeing information being fed through. There's limited utility left. They need to be hitting their gunfights if Arial Arise to have they even want a remote chance of staying in this a little bit longer.
Keep in mind, too, Arial Rise are not playing with each other. They were playing solo. They didn't have much trade potential at all. That's why we couldn't see any revives come out from the attackers. Now with 40 seconds left, they have to push up consolidated, and they're all going for linear telegraphed angles. Twizzler's able to find Woods. You're down to your final 2. It's match point, and it's still a 3v2 against Arial Rise. 2 left alive. 1 can be upstairs trying to make their way down Astro. Dami down below trying to put in some work to distract them from Og. But Og, he has to be the playmaker here. He needs to push up forwards. One's inside bicycle. Og has seemingly no idea if they pushed up. That could have been a death sentence there, but it's not going to happen just yet. It doesn't matter, though. Now it could be a death sentence. Twizzler's on a triple. Having the drop down now. It's a make or break moment. No diffuser in hand, and there you go. Smoke break take map number 1.
7-2 on Arial Rise's map pick. That is not reassuring if you're an Arial Rise. No. Smoke Break was 6th on the table. They were at very, very real risk of being knocked out from playoffs, not having a chance there. They are now currently sitting ahead of Arial Rise in the points. If they do pick up another win here, that's down to earth, pushed down into 5th place. Arial Rise pushed down into 4th, and actually no plans. Smoke Break has a chance here to jump all the way up to 2nd place if they win this next map.
Holy moly, that is huge for them. And Arial Rise, that was their map pick too, 7-2. honestly, Billy, going into this, I'm really curious to see how Clubhouse is going to go now.
I mean, honestly, I'm curious to see, a deeper breakdown. We get into that in a moment, once that's all done. But you just see the replays on the screen. It looked like Arial Arise were going to be able to take it, and then it was the Smoko Break show. Like, they just walked in, won their gunfights, and look, it never felt like momentum wasn't in the control of Smoke Break. Even those rounds that they did lose, they were trying something a little bit different. It didn't work. It was mopped up. The next round, straight back to the old classic Smoko Break. They locked it down. They took it. And, I mean, Arial Arise, that touted as this phenomenal attacking side, picked up a single round on the attacking half.
They went to the beat of their own drum, Billy. And Smoke Break did a fantastic job at that. I think we're going to need a bit of a Smoke Break after that map as well. And we have to see how Clubhouse goes after this. I don't know what to expect going into this. I really don't. Clubhouse, of course, like you mentioned, has been a map that all strategy has been done to death time and time and time over and over. But with Arial Rise limping out of that first game, Smoke Break have just been looking really dominant here.
Yeah, look, hey, this is the opportunity to be one of two results in the next map. One, either this is going to cripple the mental of Arial Arise, they're going to crumble in map number 2, and that's it. Or, there we go, we do have a breakdown of things for you. 1.5 rating for Faded, 10 for cost of 77%. There was only one player in that matchup for, Smoko Break that was sub 1 on the rating, and that was Morocco. Unfortunate, not like he didn't have some big moments. He had that massive clutch triple kill in one of the big rounds they did win. On the other side of the coin, only a single player above a 1.0 rating, and that was Domi at a 1.14. Lava just shy by 0.06. Maximum 66% cost for 3 of the players. That's just unfortunate. This is not how you expected this to play out at all. And the community vote did speak to that. Everyone was absolutely adamant that Arial Rise were going to take it, and Smoko Break have just come through. I mean, talk about kicking down the door, taking the place for yourself. That's exactly what Smoko Break did.
And if you're a fan of Arial Arise right now, the best they can do right now is tie today.
Yeah, look, hey, it is what it is, and I mean, even if they do secure the tie, I think they will push themselves into second place off the back of it, but that's only if they win it inside regulation time. If they get taken to OT by Smoke Break, they're going to be, tied with no plants. There's still a chance that Smoko Break would then still take it, I think, in second place. So there's a lot riding on this next matchup, but we will have to take a bit of a break before we get there. We need to take a Smoko Break of it for ourselves, and we'll be back with you guys for Clubhouse.
Welcome back, everybody. It was a rough matchup for Arial Arise in the first map up against Smoke Break, but this could be their chance of redemption. My name is Keg, and I'm joined by the amazing Mr. Panda here, and we're a little confused about what Arial Arise has brought out in map number 1, but map number 2 could be their chance to tie it out.
I mean, the fact that it was Arial Arise's pick, there's a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. Is it a case of the maps they wanted to play were banned out by Smoko Break? I mean, realistically, Chalet, Coastline, Consulate all play in favor of the attacking side, so it does make sense that that is what they were going for. They got banned out. Unfortunately, they've just had to go with what was available. But the way they're setting up, the way they're approaching their defense is questionable. You're setting up for an extended hold, which is then conceded immediately. The one round where we saw success from them was when they were being aggressive on the defense. We saw that extended roam. We saw Wings using bullet holes, doing that audacious, aggressive stuff, and they just absolutely mopped up the attack, got the round, and then they went right back to being passive again, and they ended the half 5-1. So I want to see them aggress more. Yes, they're starting off in the attack on Clubhouse, but again, 56% of 6 rounds is still only 3 rounds. So I want to see something more audacious when they hit the defense, because they cannot just solely be relying on the attack.
But who's going to win this one?
I honestly could not call it either way. I mean, Arial Arise is starting off in the attack, so you have to favor them a little bit off the rip. They surely will pick up some rounds, but Smoke Break, they proved themselves just as capable on the defense as they were on the attack. And on a map like Clubhouse, a solid defense is just as good as a solid attack. So, look, operator bans are going to be big here. I would anticipate we're probably going to see Thatcher, Maverick, probably Arcade, and probably Mira Malusi, depending on how you feel. Maybe even a Wemaya. But
daring today, are we?
Yeah, look, it's Clubhouse. You're very rarely going to see any deviation from the norm. And there we go. Thatcher, look, I'm 1 for 1, 2 for 2, actually, with the Thatcher calls.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a really spicy prediction, Panda. Never would have seen that one coming.
It's because I live in the future, so I already know these bans have happened. Okay, there we go, Hibana. So something a little bit different. It's catch control is the name of the game, I think, here. But look, Maverick's still available. There's still options.
Absolutely, but Hibana this is definitely her best map too. With her recent changes about how you can consolidate your Excarios pellets depending on which hatch you want to open up, that was huge for her, and we're not going to be seeing it on Clubhouse today. But the Wamai to go down next was expected by you as well, and I think just about everybody. That means Raptors control is going to get a little bit more interesting. A lot of Jaegers like to hold Raptors on CCTV site now, and with the Capital coming a little bit more into play, it pretty much negates anyone holding that entire room. But of course, the final mirror to go down as well is not to be expected, not to be unexpected either. And with that being said, again, kind of a vanilla ban.
Yeah, I mean, I was anticipating a Cade ban, but given that Maverick's in the pool, there's really no point, because a number of those, there's one hatch that you can actively contest from below, and that's going to be the kitchen one. And if you have the option of a Maverick being on the board, you can go dirt. There's just so many options available. So, yeah, no surprises that we see Basement. Basement is an interesting bomb site currently in the meta. It's one that has, I think, from the last I saw, been a slightly more attacker-sided map, bomb site. Attacking teams are just finding a little bit more success. With the recent changes to, the gun boxes in the basement, that might be a little bit different. The hatch is a little bit less of that powerhouse from kitchen. There is potential for this to be a little bit more even. I'm interested to see the setup, though. We are seeing the Aruni come out. Obviously, it's in play. 3 Nitro cells, so no impact tricking. Obviously, with the Maverick on the board, there's no point. But I think this is going to be a case of the floor is lava if they're not playing with their heads on a swivel in kitchen.
Oh, I'm always so bad at that game. But
I was real good, but I got in trouble because I climbed on stuff I shouldn't have.
Too much lava. But here's the interesting thing, right? We see the castle and we see the Aruni both in play at the same time on the defense. Typically, in SCS, we've been seeing a lot of Aruni in play in CCTV and in gym, but almost never in basement.
Well, look, I have to imagine that it's partially going to be used around hat. We are seeing somewhat of that extended up vertical roam, somewhat of the SSG roam. I wouldn't call it like a picture perfect one, but enough that it is seemingly what they're trying to achieve here. This is interesting. It's not a strategy that is played a heck of a lot at the moment just because of how counterable it is. You just flood straight in down main stairs, get into the bomb site, and the X number of players that were on the roam find themselves in a bit of trouble trying to get back in and retake the bomb site. So question now becomes is how much do Arial Arise invest in trying to deal with this offsite presence? Because if they spend all their time trying to clear out the roamers, they're going to find themselves with a limited amount of time to go for the execute onto the bomb site, and with a bomb site like basement, that's never a good time.
Arial Arise too, again, kind of playing by themselves on the attack here. Not a lot of tradability. Lava and Wings in particular, both pushing up by themselves. If they were to find the pick against them, like Morocco right here inside of Gym, that could be really bad. But on the flip side, there is a potential pitch coming out on two different defenders inside of Gym and Bedroom itself. It's going to be whether or not they can find the opening pick. And look at that, no tradability involved. Morocco's able to find Lava. That's going to be the opening pick. And another attempted trade comes down inside Cons, but they're able to get away. With that being said, though, Morocco's still holding down, waiting for someone to push on by near Stripper, but no, there's gonna be a body right on the other side. Drone coming through, gets detected instead. That's gonna force Dami to possibly push on through, and Morocco gets the audio cue. He's able to find a double from it. Now, two more inside of Con, waiting on the other side. He's gonna find the pre-fire, but it's not gonna connect. With that being said, though, Billy, a minute 30 left, and already two of your most stalwart attackers completely gone.
Like, I think it's ironic that we were talking about, the floor is lava when lava just got floored outside. And I mean, this is just Smoko break. They're playing their game. This is exactly what they wanted. TPA almost took that kill onto Org with a quarter of a bar of health, and in the process, saved Morocco so that he could reposition and still be the aggressor. Unfortunately, faded. Just caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time, brings it back to a 3-3. But Wings is tagged, Orgs is incredibly tagged, so it's not out of the realms of possibility that these kills are mopped up in the next few moments.
Oh, but one was rambunctious upstairs, possibly trying to chase down one of the defenders. Morocco seemingly has no idea. Are they still going to dedicate themselves to the upstairs play? It looks like maybe not the case, but Morocco, here's one inside of stock. C4 goes under. It's a bit of an underhanded tactic, quite literally, but doesn't execute the way he had hoped. Og, though, having control of Eastern Stairs, waiting for someone to go down below. Wings trying to make themselves onto the site, but it's an auto turret going through, and tragic! Oh my god! Round number one, smoke break, clap it up again!
Morocco is the 3K king. He finds another one in the opener at Clubhouse. And, well, look, Chief, this is their map pick. This is Smoko Break's house. They are not going to be giving it up without a fight. And, well, they've just won basement, and they did it quite soundly. Morocco, it's not every day that you see that extended roam work. And it worked phenomenally. They wasted so much time. They found so many impactful kills. TPA gave his life so that Morocco could keep up the stairs and not be chased down. Put Org in the potential position to be fragged out, and that's exactly what happened. That is how that roam is meant to work. Utility denial, information denial. You play the misinformation game. We're going to be heading to CCTV now. Cade has been left available. You've got a Valkyrie on the board. You've got that Mozzie in the hands of Morocco yet again. I mean, look, if last match was a scary indication of what can happen when Smoko Break is firing on all cylinders, now they're on their map pick. They're starting off in the defense, which is the more comfortable side for the majority of teams. I'm a little concerned for Arial Arise.
And this is Information City too for Smoke Break, right? You mentioned the Jaeger, you mentioned the Valkyrie, you mentioned the Mozzie, but it's also deniability central too. You have that smoke with the Toxic Babes, you have Kaid with the Electro Claws. It's going to be really difficult for Arial Arise to find a really good consolidation or a good way to get onto the site. They have to make sure Lava and Dami and Woods especially stay alive here. If any one of those key figures go down in the beginning of the round before doing their job, the round may as well already be over.
Look, I'm a big fan of the setup that we're seeing currently out of Smoke Break, so rather than committing an Electroclaw onto the main CCTV wall, because you're almost guaranteed that CCTV wall is going to go down. What you do, you reinforce off the garage walls, you chuck them up on rafters where you have to frag them out or impact or whatever tool you need to make it happen. And it just, the security it then offers this rafters hold is terrifying, especially when paired with the Jaeger ADSs. They are going to go get that breach open in the main wall, but they've only got the CCTV option for the most part right now. They have to find somewhere, and in fact, it's a 2-man hold. 3-man hold into garage even as TPA comes in from Oil Pit. They are doubling down on this setup, and yes, we'll see Woods get that opened up, get himself in, but look where Twizzler is. He could step up at any moment and find that angle. Drone shot out by Tragic. Twizzler could shut down this push in a moment, and Tragic aggressing onto the doorway. This camera as well going to be... They have information on the breach. Twizzler's ready and waiting. In fact, TPA could thread the needle with a Nitro. He's looking to do it. Can he find the distance? He's holding it. He's waiting it. Lava is there. It's tossed.
No.
It's not deep enough, unfortunately, but it will give away the position. Faded swings, finds Dommy regardless. That's outside the breach, outside the door. Twizzler drops down, finds two! Smoko Break are looking to absolutely steal away this series here. They
Arial!
lose one, they lose
Wings!
two. But Smoko Break are finding the big impact frags.
Oh, talking about impact frags. Triple kill comes out from Wings. They have control after all of that of Raptors. But at what cost? It's a 2v2 now. Those key figures I mentioned in the pre-round, already gone. You're down to your soft breach. You're down to your killers last left alive for the side of Arial Rise. Though you do have two anchors left for Smoke Break. They have no control of the site as of now. C4 in hand already for Morocco, waiting to strike. But what about these two attackers? They have to find a new way to push. Wings repelled up on this wall, onto the lip. Og, diffuser in hand, by themselves. Going to be trying to go through Raptors all sneaky like. Morocco and Faded seemingly have no idea as of now. They have no audio cues. They may have the Valkyrie cameras still. It's yet to be seen. Though we have to wait and see what happens next. Toxic Babes go out, take some damage onto Og. They may already know one's on site. So much damage, already almost at 50, but even then, no one wants to peek just yet. Og holding down these angles, Wings pushes in first, but it doesn't matter. They're able to find Faded a quad kill. This could be an ace. One more left alive. Morocco trapped in a cage, a small little corner left alive. Does have the C4 in play, might have to use it, but on the other side, they have to hurry up though. Wings on the other side might deny plant. There it goes, 11 seconds left. Wings has to go for it. It denies the ace. Beautiful work coming out from Wings.
That was Ash work at its finest, but that's a terrifying prospect. That if Faded had kept himself alive a little bit longer, I believe that would have been a Smoko Break round. Just the Toxic Babe canisters were in the right place. Unfortunately, his head, you know, Smoke's just a little bit too tall in some of those situations, but the fact that the only reason Arial Arise were able to bring that from the brink was Wings, what does that mean if he goes down early in the round? There's, unfortunately, being dead, you can't do that sort of thing again. So, look, I don't want to read into it too much. I don't want to, you know, say, oh, look, that's the start of the comeback. But it could also be just a flash in the pan. Wings needs to consistently be doing that. Hopefully, the rest of the team can step up as well and make it a team effort. But that was far too close for Arial Arise to be comfortable.
Absolutely. Wings getting the ace in of itself was fantastic, right? I don't think anybody here can deny that. But we mentioned Dommy, Lava, and Woods all need to stay alive in order to get that utility, in order to feel a comfortable position to get onto CCTV. And again, they all fell first. Luckily, though, Wings was there for the ace, but now that might not be able to recreate it. And having seen already what Arial brought out last round, Smoke Break might be able to counter-adapt around that already.
Well, we'll have to see, and there we go, look at that. They're just playing for the information. They're going for the same setup once again. I mean, what can you do in this situation? That Smoke Break have obviously, they've 100% committed to the fact they don't want to bring a mute or a bandit to deal with, you know, that main wall in CCTV. That's not what they're worried about, and they're going to focus their tools and their utility and denying this garage push, which, I mean, it did, honestly, it did work. The garage stall worked phenomenally. It was just Wings who pushed in, found all three players that were in there, and then mopped it up. So I would have to hope that we see a different approach coming here. I don't want to see Arial Arise pushing in the same direction because they almost lost it. They were so unbelievably close to losing that they need to go somewhere else.
But also, Arial Rise have that momentum, and now with it being a 4v5, this could be an even extra step that they need. We do see Wings coming in. I want to see majority of Wings this round because he might be able to do it again, but if he goes down early, that, again, could be the round. Lava also fell as well. The Capito no longer available to deny inside of Garage. That could be Raptors for a while, still being held in the grasp with Smoke Break. But look at this, though. Twizzler and company waiting for that Maverick to make a mistake on the breach. Already taking a little too much time, but look at that. Little feet shown. It's not going to be enough to shoot him away. Toe is still available for that Maverick. But with that being said, though, it's only going to last so much longer. He's able to find it, but it wasn't. Twizzler was Tommy able to find Morocco instead. It was a reversal. Well, what about the lip? They're not able to find the heads. In fact, nobody's going to go down from that skirmish.
Tommy almost took down Twizzler from the suicide window. Stacking up here on top red. They might be able to make... Oh, okay. I think he's just missed that second one as well. So not nearly enough utility to deny there. Twizzler going to swing onto the breach. No one there on the rappel for the moment. But it's still a 4 versus 3. TPA could lock down this garage angle. Should he find any opportunity? Nitro cell tossed. Oh, wings! Goodbye! Just perfect timing on that one. Absolutely nailed the hole in one. Wood's going to try and push up and contest TPA now. But with the ADSs in position, what can the frag grenades achieve? They're looking to try and burn through that utility. TPA might have to vacate. And there's the second frag grenade. Woods has nothing but his M4 in hand. Smoke grenade to try and cut down the information. As Dommy will push up. TPA finally dealt with in the end, but I think the work done at that point for him. Dommy tagged. Twizzler as well traded back in terms of the damage. Going to relocate into Con. Might be able to find an angle through that Con wall as well. Faded, still holding top red. Might be able to do some work with the Toxic Canister's Tragic back in the service.
Hey!
Would have been a vastly different round, I think, if he was still here.
Possibly.
Toxic Canister goes out, still trying to deter on the breach. Org tanking that wall. Dommy as well, still held in Rup. He's going to be pushing in. Just chip damage. Nitro cell placement. Twiz! Can he find it? No! It's Org and Woods to team up for 2. And for the first time this series, Keg, it is Arial Arise with the round lead.
Beautiful work. You did say it yourself. Tragic did leave that matchup. I'm wondering what the outcome could have been had he stayed, but overall, it looked like Arial Rise had the momentum they needed throughout the entire round. They were able to find the opening pick. They took down Lava. Actually, no, Lava was taken down, excuse me, but even then, with Lava being gone, they were still able to make it work. They took Raptor's control. They had a split push going forwards. They even had Lip under control as well, the platform, and they made it work. But now we're going to have to see what Smokebreak can do on their adaptation. We're going to be returning down to Church again. 6 picked away from the Frost into the Castle is a very smart one, but I want to see more of this Castle-Aruni combo.
Well, I mean, it worked for them in the first round. Now that it's open again, makes a lot of sense for them to go back there. Well. Unfortunate performance on the CCTV. Again, it was just so close that second time around. It was just the gunfights that were won. Dommy in position with Org. Woods as well teamed up quite significantly. Just didn't have the man count at the end. Honestly, I think it would have been even closer still if Tragic had not dropped from the server. Now, though, we're going to be going down to the basement, going for that extended upstairs hold once again, which we saw to great success. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued in whether Arial Arise approach it the same way, because if they do, well, we could be seeing ourselves back at a 2-2.
One thing I really want to see in this prep phase is, I'm not sure if we were able to see it already, but I want to see where these Aruni gates go. 2 of them have already been expended, but where do they go in conjunction with a more typical castle? We are seeing some interesting plays there. There's going to be one inside of Moto going into games, but...
Jim, yeah, that was with it.
Okay, another one's Jim. We saw that one last time, but where's that third one at? I think it's upstairs on the top floor still, but I'm sure we'll see it in time.
Well, who knows? Well, I can't quite see it yet at the moment.
I really wish the overhead highlighted it.
Potentially, I would maybe Logi Hatch or something like that. Morocco going to be tagged early. Maybe some pre-fires, maybe something like that. And, well, Wing's going to be pushing. And last time he was able to catch out Faded in bar from that angle as well. Who is there again? Drones coming in, so they know where he is. This bar stage wall was cripplingly detrimental for him last time. Morocco.
Jump out.
It was the master bedroom window last time that he found a kill on.
Jump out?
No.
No.
Oh, almost. I reckon it was just over Lava's shoulder that time. This is getting tense. They're still so committed. This is what we should have seen from the Arial Arise defense on Villa, but no, they weren't as committed to the aggressive setup that Smoko Break seemed to be. Oh, there we go. Woods finds it onto Morocco from Suicide. All the way deep into Logi. Good kill. Morocco was pivotal last time around. TPA now has this floor to himself. Or M590. Just damage going both ways, but I think TPA is in a world of trouble right now.
Yeah.
Pre-fire. TPA goes down. This is Arial or Eyes reading into the setup phenomenally.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we should have seen, like you said yourself, on the very first time we saw Church as well. But it's a huge back and forth. Wings is going to be DB&O. His legs no longer work. But with that being said, it was at a great cost. Smokebreak only have 2 bodies left alive. They're both quite literally the gatekeepers of the game themselves, as Castle and Aruni are hiding around near the site. Now, Faded's in an interesting spot. He's going to be near Oil Pit, but no one's really going to be expecting that one defender, right? But so many lockdowns in place. Rooney going for the roams can be noticed immediately by shooting down the drone, but what about the one at the top of the stairs? It might not be enough. Twizzler and Castle are playing a dangerous game right now. They might be able to find one, and Faded finds the skull of Og, able to take them down, but it's still a 2v4 or a 2-1 if you're good at math. There is one hiding at the top of Hatch. It's going to be Lava waiting for the cross on by. Twizzler's, though, able to bring it to a 2v3, but Faded is completely cut off. Wings tries to help out a little bit more, but helping them trying to be taken down as well. He does help in a great way, but triple kill comes out from Faded instead. A 2v1 now. It was once 2v4. Brings it down. 3 different bodies. Wood's now the last one alive. Has no idea seemingly where the others are at. He's detected by a prox mine. 18 seconds left. He has to push his way onto a site. He has no other choice. These 2 defenders completely unaccounted for. The bulletproof cam spots him out. They could push up. They could get traded out. Sure. But they have to play it smart. They're able to find one. Double kill comes from Woods. Almost to a triple. But it's Twizzler that finds yet another.
They brought it back from a 2v5 to a 2v1. And then, yeah, look, Faded died, Twiz won it anyway, but to claw it back from that significant a deficit is just insane. That's not a play or a situation that many teams can find themselves coming back from. The interesting thing, though, Kig, we're going to be heading into round number 5. They're going back to CCTV, which has been very hit and miss. I mean, the first round, it came down to the big 1v1 between Wings, who had just got the quad, and Morocco, who unfortunately just didn't have enough bullets in the mag to go for the fight. And then the second attempt, where tragically disconnected from the server and left it at a 4v5, which, again, was almost won out by Smoko Break. So, look, here's hoping that he stays in the server long enough to make it a 5v5. But I've got a question. What do we see Smoko Break do to change it up significantly enough that they can pick up the round for themselves?
You know, that's a really hard question to answer, Billy. It's tough because you have to cover so many angles when you're on the defense for this site, right? Smoke Break has been doing a really good job at it, but also Arial Rise, they're equipped with the right operators to take on just about every single job that can be thrown at you on CCTV and, to a larger extent, all of Clubhouse. I'm curious to see if we can see a deniability coming out from either Raptors or inside of Platwall. We have seen some of that happen in the past, but Wing still came by with an ace without really using any utility to do so. So my main question, I'm going to answer your question with another question. Why haven't we seen Jim yet?
Look, I mean, it's a tertiary site for a reason. I suppose CCTV is favored by the majority of rosters, so if you have it available, why not pick it up? This time around, though, we do see the change coming in again. Rather than both garage doors being electrified, they're going to go 1 and 1, or 2 and 1, technically, because it's garage door number 2. But, I mean, last time around, it wasn't super clean. They did lose it anyway, and from there, they lost a significant portion of the garage and just overall the map. This time around, the camera's the same here. TPA, just feeding that information through, spots the drone but isn't spotted himself, as well as the fact that you've got, just look at the information, the potential here for Smoko Break to do some real damage.
I think TPA has been the real wild card for Smoke Break's defense, right? He's been playing a whole bunch of different positions all throughout. The opening pick is going to be taking down the Maverick before they open up the wall. Kaid is in play, from Twizzler. And so that means the wall can't be opened up just yet. Luckily, though, Twizzler does go down, so you can't relocate the Electro Claws, but I'm not sure if Platwall has been destroyed or not. With that being said, what I was saying originally was that TPA, playing an Oil Pit originally when we saw CCTV, was really good, but not effective. Though, being able to go unchecked just about everywhere they want could have a lot of impact at the end game round, but they decided to relegate themselves and go back onto the site, which is probably the best move. Look at Tragic, though. Still holding down on Raptors, getting some damage onto Wings. It's not going to be enough to confirm the kill just yet, but they're able to still put up some damage. Morocco, though, undetected as well, Billy, hiding inside secret. All these different attackers spread out, yet no one's been able to catch them off guard except for one. That one got traded out almost immediately in itself. A minute 12 left on the clock. We have to see what Morocco can do here. He could be the huge stifling pole that they need. And right on the other side, Lava goes deep. Yeah, no, there's still going to be wings on the other side. Morocco could try and confirm the kill, but Dami tries to help out too, and it doesn't work. Lava gets killed by their own bow because of that. That is so unfortunate. But Wings is still in the game. He has been paramount for this CCTV attack once before, getting an ace, but now they need to do it again. Besides that ace, they've only gotten 3 kills, but they could recreate the magic here. Having Raptors control, pushing up, waiting to see if anyone wants to push on by, but where are these last 3 defenders at? It's a 2v3 again. We've seen this situation once, but now twice. But with only 30 seconds left, they have to do it again. Well, TPA holding behind the site. No C4 in hand. Actually, no, excuse me, they do. Og is able to find another one, making it a 2v2, but on Eastern Stairs, it's going to be more damage onto Og. It's a back and forth. Trades galore. Double kill comes out from Og. They're able to take over the entirety of the site. Oh, Morocco tries to go for the plate, but it doesn't work. It's not an ace, but it's a good round from AA.
Again, Faded just being caught out, crippled that defense. I don't know what the call is being made.
We have to see Jim.
Yeah, like surely we have to see Jim come through. Like that, by all rights, that was a Smoko break round. 100%, that was their round to win. And yeah, there we go, Jim coming through. There's questions again. Like last map, it was questions as to why Arial Arise were doing what they're doing, and now it's Smoko break. Why are they doing what they do? Why is Faded putting himself in a position where he can be aggressed on? All he has to do is throw the toxic canisters, deny the push in. The fact that TPA just couldn't connect any shots onto Org as Org was able to push up, just the lack of support. Morocco, again, not in the right place at the right time. It wasn't, they were just throwing the round. It's just these little things slipping through the cracks that allowed Arial Rise to take it from them.
This is the final round of the first half, Blue Panda. And we haven't seen Jim once yet from the defensive smoke break. They have an Aruni, which I think is going to be really neat, but it hasn't been that impactful for stopping Arial Rise on the attack.
Well, I mean, look, Arial Rise, 56% win rate. They're just sitting at that now. If they win another one, that'd be phenomenal for going on to defense. But Smoko break, I mean, look, I've not seen a more attacker-sided Villa, and I mean, Arial Rise's defensive win rate isn't spectacular. It's no chance to count Smoko break out of this just yet. They have been playing some phenomenal Siege. They're going for a full extension over to CCT, although it's not quite the full extension. It's a pseudo cash extension into CCTV itself, but I mean, you're looking to win more gunfights. It should be a little bit cleaner. They notice the mute jammer is there, so they're not going to be out open just yet. Woods is going to have to get involved and deny that way.
Oh, but Twizzler.
Well, they do get it, but I believe that was the CCTV door that was opened up. I can't quite see it myself, but he's sitting in this position that we've seen Faded in time and time again. Yeah, it's CCTV door, so it's not onto the wall itself, which would have been a bit bold, I think. But they're looking to hold this cache area. They've been droned out. There is a significant awareness of their position. They spot Twizzler as well. Wings is just going to try and walk in. Whoa, too close for comfort. Neither player finds the damage, but at least Twiz will be able to get out. Oh, there's no security in that cross. Oh, Lava takes TP out as well. These gunfights are so tenuous. There's unnecessary risks being taken here. I think they probably could have pulled off as soon as that wall started to be open, but they don't want to be making the same mistakes that we saw coming out of Arial Arise on Villa.
Oh, we're going to notice the Aruni gate on top of the hatch. It's not going to be too easy to drop down the logistics this time. Faded 2 is waiting. It seems like they've already disabled it, so at least they had to expend some utility before going down. But what about Wings? We got to keep an eye on him now. He's sneaking his way through inside of CCTV, but Twizzler was able to escape unaccounted for. May be able to go for a flank here. No claymores in sight as of yet. They haven't gone down. But Wings is waiting for anything to use the strike, trying to deny as many cameras as possible. A minute 16 left, Panda, and look at that. Still, Arial Rise need to poke up a little bit more, but they have a body gone. It's going to be TPA who's gone down, but Twizzler's in a fantastic spot to maybe catch one from the hatch.
There's a lot that could go wrong here for Arial Rise, but there's also a lot that could go wrong for Smoko break as well if they're not playing with their heads on. Dommy's still outside. If they could find a kill onto Dommy here, if they could deny the diffuser, that makes things so much harder for Arial Arise, and Twiz with the rotate up red stairs has been spotted. They have every idea that he's there. Yeah, spray through. Org finds it. 3 versus 5. Faded, Morocco, and Tragic have to go absolutely chaotic to find that. And Faded finds one, Tragic finds another, Morocco finds a third! Tragic lines up Tommy! All of a sudden from behind, it's Smoko Break going hard. Lava has to find anything he possibly can. But with 20 seconds left and no sign of the diffuser, this is surely going to be a Smoko Break round. They don't have to concede anything. They just have to hold their angles, play for the crossfires, and this is going to be a 3-3 half, and you can feel the desperation. Lava, he's not happy about any of this.
No, I wouldn't be either if I was in his position. He can't even save his own life. He was seconds away, but still falls to the hands of Morocco. That's going to be 3-3. It's a far cry from the half we saw last time on Villa here, but now it's a bit of a reset. Both teams can be switching sides. Arial Rise no longer on the attack and now putting themselves in the defensive prowess. And you mentioned it yourself, Panda. This is statistically, throughout all of SCS, a side that Arial Rise doesn't perform as well on. They still perform well, but not 56% well. We're going to have to see if Smoke Break can bring it forwards here or if it's going to be a tied matchup.
I mean, CCTV to kick things off. This bomb site has not had the greatest of defensive histories. In fact, it has not been won a single time on the defense. It was Smoko Break's defense, but now heading over, what can Arial Rise do to bring it back? Can they make this bomb site theirs? Malusi onto the Malusi there for Org. Lava picking up the Kaid. So no significantly different changes in terms of operators between the two teams on this bomb site defense.
While there isn't much of a difference, right, in the defenders, I'm wondering if we're going to see positionally a lot of different things, right? Because we saw TPA go for some wild roams, right? They played the first time we saw CCTV inside Oil Pit. Second round, I believe they were near Eastern Stairs. But the last time we saw CCTV when Smoke Break was on the defense, we saw them playing in near Stripper, rotating back to the site very early on, and they put in some work from there, but they're playing a very unorthodox style. But now that we're not seeing that, we could see a much more standard defense coming out from AA.
Well, I mean, the big difference between the two, rather than a Valkyrie, it's going to be a Maestro. And, well, we saw just how much damage that Maestro did in the previous round. Just absolutely mowing down members of Arial Arise. You're going to see this dual roam coming out here for Arial. It looks actually, yeah, it's not going to be a tight roam, which is, you know, both players in position to refrag should they need to. It's a loose roam, off on their own, doing their own thing. Which, I mean, there's obvious weaknesses in a setup like that. At the moment, though, Smoko Break, they're looking to get themselves potentially in through Logi. Seems like that might be the avenue they want to get themselves in. Even Jacuzzi is an option here. Yeah, there we go. Breaching charge in hand, ready to go. Org, looking for some positioning, looking to do some damage, looking to find absolutely anything. Twizzlet now on the role of the Maverick. Last time he was the one trying to punish it from rafters. Let's see if he himself is the one to be punished. And oh, so very, very close. There we go. Soft wall. Whoa. Lava with the pre-fire and Twizzler just with the last second direction change will survive for the moment. But in less than a minute, that is CCTV wall open.
And we're seeing Smoke Break go for such a different attacking style, too. We do see Og down below playing a very interesting defense, sort of similar to what TPA brought out on their Valkyrie, but they're going for a much more destructive construction side from Smoke Break than we saw Arial Rise, where they focused primarily on Splat Wall and they focused on Raptors almost every time, but the success seems to work. They're able to find the opening pick. They have a lot of control. The only anchor really on the side of Arial Rise is dead. Lava, though, of course, going to be the other one, playing a little bit farther behind, but the C4 comes down, not going to connect. Everyone runs away. So sure, the control is now somewhat back into the side of Arial Rise, but they could easily push up because the only defense now is resting inside of Eastern Stairs.
Significant lack of plant denial now. Wings down below the hatch in bar. Can he find an angle? There's so much that he has to be worried about here, but just so many different angles to check. He could find himself in a world of trouble. TPA, though, in much the same position, is going to forego the dangerous angle and look to walk straight in. Just so much threat coming the way of Arial Arise. It now becomes a question of how can they stand up to it. There's too many angles that need to be covered from the toxic canisters. Baited going to be tagged, or the jump out the window just outside of the line of sight of Wings. So he is now next to ineffectual unless someone Again, Twizzler in position to be the one to make that mistake. TPA finds Org. Woods in a bit of trouble, almost getting naded out. Oh, Wings pulled off at the worst time. Woods at least will find Faded, but he goes down himself. They're flooding into the bomb site. Morocco for one, but loses out to Lava. Wings finds Tragic. It's back to a 2 versus 2. Top red is the position Wings is going to be finding himself in. TPA still in con. Twizzler in the bomb site itself. There is a Nitro Cell that could threaten, but it's all the way in rafters. It's not there anymore. Twizzler finds it, and he finds Wings as well. Smoke Break back in the lead, and they are in much more familiar territory right now.
Fantastic coming out here. A very small lead coming out from Smoke Break, but they were able to clean it up and do what Arial Rise did themselves on the attack. It seems like just neither of these teams can hold a defense for CC.
Wow, 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 wow. Just absolutely monstered yet again. We're seeing it's a voluntary return to almost that 20-second meta. Smoko Break, they're taking their time. They're doing their due diligence and droning, figuring out defensive positions, and then when it comes to the gunfights, heads are going to explode, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an Arial Arise head, because they are just winning their gunfights heads up, completely blowing Arial Arise out of the water. Yes, it got down to a 2v2, but Woods just, Twizzler just absolutely monstered them on the return. No chance at a comeback there. And with that, they regain the round lead. They can look to push on and take this entire series 2-0, which, I mean, they have more than proved they're entirely capable of that.
It's going to be a tough one, Billy. Tension's building up here. It's definitely a far cry from what we've seen on Villa. 4-3 now, both teams are really putting up a fight. But Smoke Break, they were able to collapse at the very last second, like you mentioned here, but yet nobody has been able to really win too many of these defensive rounds. It's been a huge back and forth for both of these teams. Look how far spread out Lava and Og have been, right? They're not playing traditionally on the church side. Roam game is important, but we're also not seeing a lot of intel deniability that Smoke Break brought out when they were on church.
Look, this is one of the hardest matches I think Arial Arise has played this season, and they lost to Mystic, which is saying something. That they were still able to bring it quite close. It was 7-5, 8-6 to Mystic in the end. So they got close. 7-2 in map number 1. Now we are going to start to see that comfortability that Smoko Break showed on their attack, and well, unless Arial Arise do something significant to look to bring it back, they could find themselves just missing out on just sheer stamina alone. They might not be able to keep up with Smoko Break with this full-fledged head-on momentum.
Early frag grenade goes down, doesn't quite do the way they had hoped damage-wise, but they're able to find the electric claw instead, and that's the real victory of being able to maybe get that hatch open. Of course, though, it's still not open just yet. They were able to get rid of that electro claw, but they haven't really gone too fruitful with it still. Bandit's holding it down, able to Slumma open it up. Now he just needs one more Selma charge to do the full due diligence. But Wings and company now holding down the bottom of the site. There's a minute 36 left on the clock here, and yet we have very rarely seen in the second half anybody going to the very end of this timer. It's about halfway into the round now. One camera inside on Arsenal, waiting for someone to pop on by, but it's mostly for audio cues instead. I'm curious to see how Smoke Break want to take this. There's a lot more extension coming out from Arial Rise's side. There's going to be Woods inside Dirt, and everyone making a complete remake over of kitchen side floor as well. But yet nobody's able to find these damaging angles. Wings especially could be in prime position to do so, yet has been unable to find it. Of course, with that being said, though, we do see a bit of a split push coming down, a gigantic one at that. We have one inside a main hall, one inside generator, but yeah, nobody's able to really conceive themselves to find the kill. TPA tries to poke up, find some damage inside of Memorial, but it's not going to be enough just yet. Of course, with that being said and done, they're trying to find a way to execute with 45 seconds left, but they're unable to do so. They're still running around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to do it. They're able to find a little bit more leeway, Blue Panda, but still not going to be enough just yet. Wings holding down. What's up, Billy?
This is the longest I've seen a round go.
Right?
With all 10 members still alive.
You
Twins are going
think
to be tagged.
any second it's going to happen, but it doesn't.
Explosion, there we go.
Does.
It's going to be TPA to go down. Wings does find it. Morocco as well in a bit of trouble. Gets gunned down by that MP5. The drop in the hatch. They've got players inside the bomb side. Domi lines it up, but they lose Wings off the backside of it. Lava to go down at Tragic. They might be able to make this one work. Faded. Not quite sure what the play is. Tragic not the healthiest at the moment. Player and Dirt looking to shut it down. They find the kill onto Faded. Time is not going to be there. And Org will bring it back and equalize the score yet again. But Arial Arise, it came down to that wire. They did pull it out. Wings again was the player that held fast for the team, but they don't have the option to go back to basement again. They now have to go CCTV, Gym, or Barstock, and it's sure as hell not going to be Barstock. We're going to be heading back to CCTV, and well, the question now becomes, can they do it again? Can they put themselves in the lead? Can Arial Arise be the one to take away map 2?
Man, when's the last time you saw a 20-second meta in play? That really throws you off, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Holy, that is like what was before Shadow Legacy? Void Edge? That's how it feels.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't Void Edge.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Was it?
No, sorry, Steel Wave.
Shifting time. Steel Wave, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's feeling very reminiscent of that.
Yeah. But 4-4 now. It's going to be even across both sides, and we're returning yet again to CCTV. Arial Arise does not want to play Gym too much either, it seems, but they've been able to find at least a little bit more luck on their defense starting off.
Oh boy, it's an interesting time here in Clubhouse. Arial Arise, they equalize the score, but they are not safe just yet. Smoko break. They have really done some damage, not just in the round count itself, but the mental as well. Just these little things that are coming up in favor of Smoko break that must be weighing on Arial Arise. The fact that map 1, which was their own map pick, got taken away from them 7-2. We are going to see a very, very similar setup to what we have been seeing so far. It's still the double commit onto the garage walls, which means CCTV is open. If they can find some way to deal with the player at top red, they could find themselves the opportunity to go absolutely big here. But Wings, again, still that factor that has been able to keep Arial Arise at 12, 2, and 6 is just stacking up the numbers.
Oh, good Lord, Billy. Look at where Wings is right now. It's not quite the way Morocco played inside of Gym so many rounds ago here. He's going to be playing a little bit more safe near the construction barrier, or at least the divide between Bedroom and construction, but he's still looking for those pre-fire shots. Not a lot's going to amount right away, but a drone war could be the one to get rid of him. Og again playing down below, waiting for anyone to come on by inside kitchen, but the answer is going to be no. Nobody's there just yet. The only one who may potentially find anything right away is going to be TPA or Tragic, and they're trying to close in on Wings. Og could be the savior for this Jaeger, though, if he's not able to get away right away, but yet those cameras aren't able to find anything either.
Well, Wings is pulled back down into bar now. He's going to be looking to play around that con hatch if he can. Wasn't able to find anything from it last time. Org at the moment with that nitro cell placed. Tragic on the drone too. Could find himself in an absolute world of hurt.
Oh!
There we go. Org lands it quite cleanly at that. Off the back of that, they lose the sledge. TPA is going to frag back onto Domi. So as soon as they get one, they lose another. And I mean, the Maestro for a sledge, that's rough.
Yeah, that is not a great position to be in. I mean, yeah, losing the sledge isn't good, but losing your Maestro on CCTV, that's not good either. Plus, on top of that, you lose down to Morocco on the Zofia. It's not the worst in the world, but at this point, you're just losing bodies in the battlefield no matter which way you look. 2 left alive now. It's Via Loco trying to push on up themselves, but the ADS is going to stop any sort of destructibility they have. Have to think of a new method now. Trying to push around on the other side. Could try to move one out of their position, but they have to worry about East Stairs instead. Hiding behind the reinforcements, they try to go for the pre-fires. It's not going to work out the way they had hoped because the reinforcements in the way. Hiding around. 1 left alive, though. It's going to be Faded. The last one alive with the AK-12 has to push his way into the site. He's surrounded by bullets and enemies, and a single hit of anything is going to take him down, and it does. Shotgun to the face is going to conclude Arial Rise, making a bit of a comeback.
Well, now the only options are Barstock and Gym Bedroom, which neither of them particularly, well, they're not quite as strong as the other bomb sites available, but look, we know it's not going to be Barstock. It's going to be Gym Bedroom. What setup are we going to see them bring? It's probably going to be extended cash hold, as you would expect from the majority of teams. But Smoko, how do they bring this one back is the question. They're down again. They were able to even it up last time. They might be able to just keep going toe-to-toe and push it to an OT, and that's where things start to get interesting. Tragic get a 6-pick off the sledge onto an IQ. Not quite sure whether he's going to do it, and he does look like he's going to be sticking that one. I rate this. They're going to be looking for that utility. The Valkyrie cams shut them down. Mute jammers from below shut them down. There's a lot that can be denied here on the attack. They just need to be able to keep Tragic alive to be able to do that work.
But it's a slight little lead now for Arial. And Gym and Bedroom is a site we haven't really seen too much, Blue. Do you think that, you know, these extending roams that we've been seeing Arial can bring out, can they win 2 in a row? That's going to put them at match point.
I mean, yeah, it would. I think they need... This is what we should have been seeing in map number 1. A slightly more aggressive. Wings off doing his thing, looking for those gunfights, trying to keep control of the ground through his just sheer mechanical gifts alone. Org as well, playing up that information, looking for the nitro plays. It's worked for them. It's worked very, very well, and I think they should keep doing it, because if they revert back to that passive style of play that we saw in Villa, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just get absolutely monstered for the rest of the map.
We haven't really seen them play that passive on the defensive club, though. They've been playing moderate, I guess. They have had a strong roam game. If anything, their anchoring has been a little bit on the weaker side. But the roam game, especially AUG, has been so good with their C4 play. But if that falls really early on, we could see a 5-5. But look at Morocco, already inside Raptors, uncontested, no info detecting where they're at. But they've also completely bypassed, for the most part, opening up flat wall as well. Of course, they are going to have some action there. Thermal charges are going to open it up. But Morocco, again, undetected, not going to expect the angle of which he's approaching from. And Dami may have no idea one's already inside on the other side of those reinforcements. But it's more than just one, Panda. It's going to be 2.
Yeah, there was one playing top red. That shield, I think that's what we heard, just being taken down there. Yeah, Wings has to pull off. He's going to be playing just under the railing. Dami's still there. There is an angle open, but not significant enough that they can find the damage. Wings going out. Wings in a bit of trouble, being droned quite aggressively. Has to go for the reload to find himself in a bit of trouble. Org, though, playing from secret, might be able to push up and do some significant damage of his own.
Oh my.
Wings finds Twizzler, but Lava goes down to TPA. They're looking for more. Wings. He's being pinched. He's being very, very heavily pressured right now. TPA does go, but it's faded to find the kill onto Wings. They're looking for even more. They have control at top red. Domi is going to try and rotate. 3 finds the kill regardless. Will get himself away. That's Diffuser down. 3 versus 3. They're going to pull right off the angle, look for even more, but the Diffuser capable of being picked up. They can push into the bomb site, maybe contest a plant, as Org will rotate into Logi right now. Might even be able to try and slow down that momentum that has been built here by Smoko Break, but he's got to win those gunfights. He's got to hit those shots, and at the moment, there's just no guarantee that he will.
Look, there's a minute left. It's a bit of a reset body-wise for both teams. Both at a 3-3. All seems maybe well for one side or another, right? Well, Smoke Break don't have any of their hard breachers left. They have a lot of potential to make it through onto the side without hard breaches, but look at that. Tragic's already inside Logic. Maybe contested a little bit more. The bodies are flying everywhere, it seems. Bullets, especially in AUG, now a hint away from death this round. Woods hiding behind inside bathroom does have a bit of some roam potential, some rotates as well, but is that going to be enough? We have to see Morocco can find any luck yet again. AUG pushed here before. A double play coming through. He's prone on the ground, faking his death. Dami on the other side, waiting for the trade as well. He's going to alert AUG of one coming nearby, but the pre-fire's underway. Diffuser goes down, 18 seconds left, and there's still one left. It's a gigantic pinch. Do they know one's in bathroom? Yes, now they do. But now Smoke Break find themselves in a bit of a problem. A 1v2, pushing up construction, no Diffuser in sight, it seems. Able to push on forwards, have the Diffuser in possession, though. They have to go through Gym. Can they find the bodies? Possibly. One of the showers doesn't go down immediately. They have to go for the plant. What the heck's happened?
The clock was not there, unfortunately, for Tragic. They didn't have the information they needed either, and, well, that will be Arial Rise moving on to map point here. They are looking good to potentially pull this one back. 6-4. They have to, well, they get to go back down to basement. The question now becomes, can Smoko Break push for OT? That really is the big question now presented to us. Even still, a 7-2, 7-4. Okay, then we've had a call for a pause. We have to get the mute bug sorted. Unfortunate, you hate to hear it. Yeah, literally, I hate to hear it. That's the worst sound. But Chief, not Chief, Keg.
I'm not Chief.
Yeah, I know.
I try my best to be.
I was reading messages from Chief before, but Keg, look, 6-4. I think Arial Arise may have regained their footing. That's what it's looking like at the very least. I talked about it. I was going to talk about it. Then we got the map, the stats come up. But you go down 7-2 on your own map pick. One of two results comes after that. Either you crumble under the pressure, you've just lost your own map, you cave and you lose map number 2, or you say, hold on, that's not what should have happened. You get mad, you get angry, you come into the next game and say, we're going to play our game, damned what they do, and then you win it. And that's what Arial Arise, it looks like they're going for the latter.
Absolutely. I mean, these last second plays, it's not quite the 20-second meta that we're so used to, but we have been seeing a bit of a remnant, kind of an amalgamation of it from Smoke Break, and it has its positives, but also has its negatives. We saw at the very end there, IQ pushing through, no info in sight, having all of the friends go down on logistics like fodder being taken away. He had to push through Jim. He tried to find one body in the smoke, and I did say what just happened because that smoke died in a really weird way. I'm not sure what happened there, but the plant could have gone down. But when it's a 2v1 like that, you have to kind of resign your life there. And with that being said, a 2-point lead for Arial Rise has been the strongest they've looked this series.
Yeah, I mean, Wings is just firing on all cylinders. He's really been the front runner for the Arial Rise roster to bring them back into the fold. Org following up quite closely behind, having a fairly significant impact overall. So, it's good. They found their momentum back again. They're looking, one round is all they need to close out and go for the tie at the end of the day. But Smoko Break, it's not like they've looked bad in this matchup. It's just that Arial Rise have looked like it's a return to form. This is what we expected from them. So, Smoke Break, they still have that opportunity. It's 2 rounds. 2 rounds is all they need, and it's not like we haven't seen a 6-4 turn into a 6-6 and then go to OT. So, look, it's basement. It's a bomb site that they've won already on the defense. The only bomb site they've lost so far is CCTV, and that Twizzler making some big plays. I think, look, I'm not saying it's done off this round, but there's a good chance it will be done off this round.
One big stranglehold factor I think for Arial Rise has been Wings. 14-7 right now in the matchup. And sure, we're on a pause right now, but you can't take away the ace that he got on the, what was that, second time we saw CCTV? I believe it was. Absolute insanity coming through. And now on the defense, just as good it seems. Nobody else in the lobby, some have come close, but nobody else is in the double digits just yet. And it's only a kill away, or maybe 2 if you want to be really picky about it, for Wings to come close to doubling what everybody else has.
Look, he has just been, I don't know what was happening in map number 1. I don't know, they maybe they put a leash on him, they tied him up in the backyard and said, you're just going to sit here while we do what we do.
They fenced him in.
Yeah, that's literally what it felt like. They fenced him and they said, you're going to play this way. And then it came to Clubhouse and they said, actually, the 2 rounds, or the 1 round we won on the defense was when we let you guys go off and do your thing. Wings played that perfect bullet hole into Master, found the big kill on Viana. And they said, actually, you know it's good if we let Wings do his own thing. And, well, look what's happened. The guy has just had some of the most impactful multi-frags in this map that I've seen in a long while. Consistent. The man single-handedly pulled a round back from the brink to ace and win it for them. So, you couldn't ask for more in the situation.
Yeah,
I think this is what we need to see Wings. We need to see Wings unleashed more often, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's very capable of doing so too, right? This isn't the first time we have seen Wings pop off like this either in SCS. He has done so very consistently and just has been a miracle maker at times when it's needed most. I do wish we did see that on Villa. Unfortunately, that just wasn't the case. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We are, I believe, going to be going to a full rehost. It does seem like there's a bit of an issue with one player returning back to the lobby, but that's fine. You can spend more time with us. But, Panda, my hair's been an absolute mess lately.
Yeah, mine's much the same at the moment.
How does it grow so long?
Look, I unfortunately, so on my dad's side, he started going grey when I was born, which was he was 24.
Okay.
But my mum's side, her great grandmother still had a full head of hair when she was like 92. So I'm gonna have really, really thick, really long, luscious hair, but it's going to be, Snow White by the time I'm 40.
You'll be like Gandalf.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So I've got the blessing and the curse, unfortunately, which means that it grows really thick and really fast. So I have to go get a haircut like once, every 2 months.
Same.
It's not fun.
I've had only 2 haircuts from November. But speaking about haircuts though, let's see who can shave off the most amount of heads in a siege match at once. We do have the leaderboards coming up again. I'm not entirely sure if they have been updated recently though to include this new matchup, but I mean this could be a huge change factor. Gunner's still going to be in the lead though, still with the 1.37 for the rating and the kills per round at the 1.18, but that is just fantastic. What a stranglehold he has had. But look at that again, we pointed this out in the pre-show. Every single category that we see besides the entry differential have all had members of Arial or Rise on there.
Yeah, I mean, entry differential, yeah, it's great. You get in there, you get the frags, but it really is the fact that Gunner has consistently had the top rating. Whitlock, his teammate, is only 0.03 behind him. Like that, there's just a high level of consistency, a high level of solid play coming out of this Mystic roster. And I mean, look, there's a lot of big things expected from these guys moving forward. Obviously, they're looking to push further and further, deeper and deeper into the competitive scene. They're just an impressive force on the whole. And look, hey, I think going into playoffs, they're probably going to be one of the big targets. And I say that with a lot of confidence. I have absolutely no doubt that we are going to see them making the playoffs. I'm excited to see what they bring when it comes to the nitty-gritty end of things. But I mean, yeah, Whitlock, most impactful rounds. 70% of his rounds are impactful ones. Just consistently playing at a high level. Gunner, he's a little bit lower down. He doesn't actually play for Arial or Rise, even though it says he does. He's still a phenomenal player. And honestly, they are one of the teams that I think will make top 3, if not top 2.
I'm inclined to agree with that too. Honestly, right now, and I don't know how the chat and everyone feels, I don't feel comfortable saying a top 3 yet for SCS. We're still in the group stage, right? Playoffs are going to be in a few weeks. I don't feel comfortable saying that one team's definitively going to be in the top 3, let alone win the whole thing. We just haven't seen enough yet.
Maybe if you open your eyes, Keg, you will see plenty. No, I mean, just the consistency on the whole has been there for Mystic. They have just looked incredibly solid. They have, I mean, there've been a couple of times when they've been threatened a little bit, but I mean, just they seem to be unshakable. 16 points on the whole, positive 17 round differential. Look, they've only had 2 of their wins where it has gone to overtime, so they consistently looking that much better.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing. Mystic's a fantastic team, but all things considered, there's a lot of fantastic teams in SCS, and even though Mystic has been doing a great job up until now, just saying that they could take it all, there have been so many upsets already this season, Billy, that Mystic could definitely take it all or be in the top 3, maybe the top 5, but I just want to see more.
Look, I'm not saying that they are going to. They're a top 3 contender. I'll put it that way. They have a good shot at it. But I mean, we're going to be jumping back to us, our beautiful faces. There was another name on the overall rating. It was a little bit lower. It's Eddie. It was Eddie from Team Aggro, who I had the privilege to cast with Jazz the other day. Aggro, another team, obviously they're top of their table as well. They as well have some pretty consistent standout players, and I mean, it's just those players and teams that have that X factor that they can go above and beyond what the team requires to just pull out these massive plays. And Wings has been doing that here for Arial Arise. He has been that X factor player, pushing in as the Ash in that round and finding the full ace in round number 2. Just absolutely sweeping aside the defense in a round that Arial Arise had no right to 2 to 5. And, 2 to 4, I think it was actually. But even still, to come back, find every single frag in that and win it out for the team, they've just been able to capitalize. This is a much more solid map that we are seeing from them so far. And I look, hey, it's a good indication that they can bounce back from such a significant loss and potentially, they've not done it yet. There's still potential that we go to OT and then Smoko break, bring it back. But for them to bounce back and give us a showing like this is a solid indicator that they are going to be one of the top teams.
I was going to say, we're not out of the woods just yet, Billy, but we're coming pretty close to doing so. We're almost done with the rehost here. We're just about ready to get back into the game. And I'm excited to see if this little break in of itself is going to be enough to really transform the momentum. Coming back into it now, Smoke Break back on the attack, Arial Rise now on the defense still. We said going into the second half, it might be a little bit more difficult for Arial just because they have such an outrageous attacking percentage so far in the season, but they've been putting up a lot of numbers on the defense itself. So going into church now, we're going to have to see if this could be a make or break factor here. Again, they only need one more round to tie it up for the entire night.
Yeah, and back down to basement, we see the same tools being brought by both sides. This one, it got messy. It really did. It got very, very messy at the tail end. It was down to a 2v3, I think, I want to say. And it was, I want to say, it was faded and tragic. Again, they just didn't have the health to be able to contest. And, I mean, Morocco went, sorry, yeah, no, not Morocco, Wings, because Morocco's the Jaeger player for the team. Wings went for that big swing, found both the Ash and the Zofia for smoke outbreak and shut down the push from Blue. I'm interested. I'm very interested to see what adaptation Smoko Break look to bring to the table. Can they change the way they approach Dirt Tunnel? Wasn't even contested at all. I think it's largely because they have Woods playing the smoke there, and it makes a lot of sense. You don't want to be playing the Toxic Canister because they can get some early presence. If they can get themselves in position to threaten it early, burn through that utility denial that is available for the side of Arial Rise, it could give them the advantage they need to get into the site and take control for themselves.
A lot of the defenders, too, that we're seeing from Arial have been really... is traditional the right word? Because on Smoke Break, we saw Aruni, we saw Castle, we saw kind of an altered or malformed version of the SSG roam. Here, we're seeing just a pretty standard cookie-cutter layout for Arial Rise, and that's not saying it in a bad way. Every single one of these defenders is super, at times, optimal for the site. But I'm wondering, having... not the lack of creativity, but not having the Aruni, not factors they don't normally see, I'm wondering if that's going to hinder Arial for this defense.
Well, I mean, look, we can only figure it out once we get there. TPA early push in towards the bathrooms. Might even be able to contest Org, who's currently sitting on main stairs. Fortunately, we don't have the stats on the frags. We had to go for the full rehost, so no real indicator of where Wings is at the moment. But he
was 14.
He was sitting quite high. 14 on the whole. Potentially, if they lose this round, could somehow find his way to 20 by the end of the map. TPA in position, looking to start opening up the floor, starting to threaten that verticality of this bomber site, and you can see the preparation, the mental fortitude being tested here for Arial Arise. Domi repositioning, looking for wherever that floor is going to be opened up next to try and contest the angle, the gunfight. Nitro Cell, I believe. Oh, no. Okay, so it was thrown. He picked it up again, didn't commit to it. Not behind a favorable enough position. That's more utility in the back pocket. They've still got the 2 Nitro Cells to play with, and this is where this game becomes very risky for the attacking team.
Now remember, we saw this happen before, but they just spend the majority of the round on the attacking side, ripping open every piece of furniture, or I guess the flooring, as much as they can. This lasted a very long time. C4 is going to go down, does connect, and able to take away Tragic. That reho is all for him to die at the beginning of the next round. Oh, unfortunate to see. But losing down on the sledge, you don't have as much soft breach utility. 25 hits with the hammer, enough for it to go down, but now you have a far less utility to work with on the Ash and on the Zofia as well. But that's not going to stop the rest of these attackers though. Smoke Break, especially Morocco, looking towards, maybe poking and prodding their way in Oil Pit, maybe around Secret as well. But look at this, Billy. TPA by themselves at that base, the belly of the beast, already outside of main. Lava could be able to find the shot early on if they are to make a mistake or try to rotate out, but it doesn't matter. There's another battlefield ensuing. Faded's able to find another one, 40 seconds left on the clock, and now they're trying to come on by. 2 different bodies already gone on Smoke Break's side. They've already lost a lot of their hard breach and a lot of their soft breach potential, but now their guns are going down as well, but they're able to clap it up, almost make it even, but it doesn't matter. As soon as they're able to, it's down to a 2v3. Wings trying to hold it down, being some rotate holes, trying to find some lines of sight, unable to do so either. But Twizzler pushing up, might be able to find one right on the other side, trying to help out a little bit more. The Kai does spot the Maverick, able to get onto the side, it doesn't matter. Behind the chassis now, somewhat safe, maybe not. It's down to a 1v3. They found themselves into a killing floor.
And there we go. The rehost happens, and it doesn't matter. Arial Arise still able to take it back after a rather demoralizing loss. They pull it back, get themselves a pretty significant victory. So there we go, 7-4, 7-2, 7-4. Both teams picking up their opponent's map pick at the end of the day, Keg. And I mean, again, it was just Arial Arise returning to form, playing their game when it came to the defense. And yeah, look, that's not what the kills actually are, but it was still a very, very solid defense there that won them that.
A very solid one at that. It's a far cry from what we saw in their defense on Villa. I'm glad they really stepped it up for Clubhouse. And it's not often where we get to see a team win the opposites of their map picks too, in a very clear fashion.
Yeah, it was pretty clear cut. Map number one, I couldn't necessarily put it down to one thing that cost Arial Arise that map, but it was just a series of mistakes that let them lose out on that. And despite a stunning performance, honestly, Smoko Break, they did pull out some stunning stuff here on Clubhouse. It just wasn't enough to come back and beat this, vengeful Arial Arise roster, who they 100% clapped back and brought it to it. Yeah, there you go. You see on the screen, Wing's massive ace that he found, and there was just some unfortunate stuff that let Smoko Break down. But I mean, look, hey, it's a good indication going into the coming weeks that maybe they can go toe-to-toe with some of these big teams.
Absolutely. We talked about Arial Rise, we talked about Team Mystic. Now we got to talk about Smoke Break. I think they have a huge chance to make it into that top 5 overall for SCS if they can keep going on the momentum they've had. Going up against a team who's had a lot more famousness, not infamy. That's the opposite of infamy. A lot of popularity, I guess, if you will, in the recent months, especially winning some other leagues. This is huge for Smoke Break for them. But we're gonna have to wait and see more of what they can bring out here. Arial Rise, they can check off at least a little bit. They got a tie off of them, and that's more than a lot of us even thought. Our casting predictions were predominantly in the favor of a 2-0, in the favor of Arial Rise, and only
Damn it,
two.
McCready and Chief were right.
Only two set a tie, and they were completely right here. But props to them as well. But holy, that was a fun series to look at between both teams. And I really can't wait to see more of them, and maybe even a redemption round later on.
No, it's good. Like, hey, you love to see this sort of play. Just it creates these storylines, coming into it. Arial realize that the heavy favorites in the matchup, and then they lose map number one. They come into map number two, and it was 4-4 at one point. And then Arial Rise just turned it up and won the map out. So you love to see that sort of thing. Arial Rise, congratulations on picking up map number 2. Unfortunately, lost to map number 1, and congratulations, Smoko Break, for picking up that one. But I mean, hey, it just sets the stage going into the the next couple of weeks and what could potentially be there. Smoko Break will be versing up against Down to Earth next week. Arial Rise will be versing No Plants. So again, more potential upsets could come there.
Absolutely. This is definitely not going to be the only upset, or I guess a partial upset, that we can see in SCS so far. We've seen plenty in the past, and I have a feeling after this Playday, we'll have 2 weeks left of the group stages. We're probably going to see a few more coming through. But I'm not a mind reader. I don't know the future, but I'm guaranteeing you that at least once each week now, we're going to see some crazy upsets here. We are still waiting on the stats. I'm excited to see how they all turned out, especially for Wings, to see how much that ace really impacted them. But I'm assuming they're probably going to be pretty high up there with the ratings.
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, just Wings went off. He went above and beyond what his team needed, and was a defining factor in why they were able to pick up this map after such a significant loss on Villa. And here we go. We'll be getting them up on your screen.
Holy crap.
1.61 ratings, 15 and 7, a 72% cost. Still lower than Orgs, enough, but yeah, Wings definitely the MVP of that second map, 100%. And everyone but Lava having an unfortunate showing despite the rest of his team being absolutely on board.
Yeah, Lava found himself in a lot of precarious situations, especially on the attack. He was usually the first one to be the opening pick against him, and I'm sure obviously that doesn't help with his KD, doesn't help with any of the stats that we see on the board here. But the Capital, we didn't really see a lot being brought out for them on the attack. I was expecting to see a little bit more, especially in Raptors. That's not to say we didn't see anything at all, but I really thought we would have seen more Raptors clearing from Arial Rise on the attack. But the times they were able to were fantastic, but it wasn't always done by the Capital.
Yeah, look, hey, there was that one attempt that Lava went for to try and clear rafters and killed himself.
Yeah, that too.
With the asphyxiating bot. So there was some unfortunate moments. There's definitely a lot to take away for both teams in terms of improving coming into the next couple of weeks. But look, hey, it is what it is. One win either way. The ratings, I mean, Wings should be feeling phenomenal about that performance. And the minimum Arial Rise can take away from this is at least they got a win.
Oh yeah, and plus they have an ace on their side now too. Not the operator. the formality of getting an ace. But we do have more stats to show as well. I'm curious to see how the grand scheme of things went through the entire series that we saw today. And Faded, 17-14 was really good for Smoke's side, but look at that. Wings, 20-14. 1/4 of all of the kills he got in the entire series was in a single round.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Because he ended 15 frags in second. He got 5 frags in map number 1. That's rough. That just, I suppose that gives an indication of how vastly polar the two maps were. And unfortunately, you know, the ratings look a bit bleaker on the side of, you know, Smoko Break than they were in map number 1. But on the whole, still incredibly even. And Wings was one of the defining factors. That plus Tragic, unfortunately, you know, disconnecting from the server a couple of times did mean that there were rounds that could have been won by Smoko Break that just we will never know whether they would have been.
All things considered, though, Tragic getting disconnected 2 times, I believe, 1 on each map. No, 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times, 1 on each map. And,
still really good stats.
Yeah, look, honestly, Tragic really did have a fairly solid showing, and I would have liked to have seen those rounds played out with him still in the server. There's a lot left unknown coming into this. There's still a lot that you could take away. But on the whole, there has been some phenomenal showouts all on the whole. Look, there's a reason that both teams were able to pick up a map here. They're both incredibly capable. They both played their own version of Siege. Arial arrives a little bit less in map number 1, but map number 2, that's more of what we expected. So, I mean, it's just those little things that they need to clean up, and they, again, top team contender.
Absolutely, Panda. It was a bit of a mirror mode showing from both sides, going blow for blow against each other, and very interesting scorelines for both maps. Luckily, though, you would think that's going to be the entire night right there, but no, we actually have a whole other series after that of 2 more amazing teams and 2 more amazing casters coming by as well. So with that being said, though, we have to fine-tune some things on our end, bring everybody onto the screen here, and that's going to take about a 15-minute break, but don't you worry, we'll be back really soon. Don't go anywhere, and have a nice night.